It's the major champs against one of the newest teams in the NAL for a spot in EWC. A story so insane, we could not have made this up coming in. Who knew we would be here? It's the story of David versus Goliath. The tale as old as time, the team that everyone wants to beat versus the team that faces the challenge of their life.
Yeah, and it's going to be DZ. Obviously, they are the SLC major champions. And for fun, I mean, this is their second stage now where they're able to make it to the playoffs. But the fact of the matter is that is not good enough. Eventually, what?
No, I was going to say, I think you should just end it right there. It's DZ, the SLC champion, and then there's for fun.
And that's it.
And that's basically it. But at the end of the day, making playoffs is not good enough. We know that. You are going to have to make it over a juggernaut. And it's not just a juggernaut. Look at the head-to-head right here. DZ are leading in every single statistical category that there is, and we were pulling it up. And guys, we didn't cherry pick, I promise. This is not the only stats.
We were trying to actually find something where for fun was leading in. Unfortunately, they weren't.
And there was one kind of there where conversion rate was pretty close, 74% to 76%. But again, DZ are that machine. They're the team that has been there before. They're planning to make every single event. And for fun, again, you got to be able to get over a juggernaut. You can't just keep making playoffs. And what is that going to come down to? For me, it's going to come down to the leadership voices on the team, right? Packer and Bino. But we don't want Packer to just kind of go on a little bit of a tirade and just start making everyone have to wake up, right? It's going to be on the entire team to come into this game hot. Everyone ready to play. Everyone having their voices elevated on this team.
Well, the thing for DZ, and maybe the only thing that For Fun can kind of try to capture, is they did lose their game yesterday against Wildcard. A blueprint, potentially, for how For Fun could do this. Now, we don't usually get a chance to speak to losers after their game, but Dark Zero, they did this for us. They posted an interview with Kino's thoughts on what happened yesterday in that loss.
Yeah, it was a hard series against Wildcard. I did expect it to be a hard series because, I mean, that's what happens every time we play against them. It's a good matchup. Playstyles fit. So yeah, every time it's a barn burner, we were expecting it, we were ready for it, and they came out on top. I think the particular issue on labs, I would say on our attacks, we were a bit lackluster. Comms were getting too hectic, and we were missing some important details that could, cost a round or two. If that game is we get like what 3-4 attacks, that's a completely different game. Never know what happens. I do think this loss teaches a bunch. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I feel like losing is one of the biggest parts of winning and learning. And going forward, I mean, this loss will only help us. We really don't care if we're in the lower bracket, what game we're playing, and who we're playing against. We're just going to show up and we're going to play a game and we're going to do our best. Big shout out to the DZ fans, family, girlfriend, friends, everybody who's watching. I wouldn't be here without their support, their love. And make sure you get that DZ skin that just came out.
I always love hearing from Kino, but at the same time, I think it's very important to note that losing is always going to be a part of winning and learning, because if you're winning all the time, you're not learning too much. There's not anything you're going to take from those wins. You're just going to, we played a good game. And realistically, every time DZ does come to a loss, they never lose twice. They then always continue on to beat their opponents going forward. So when you're looking at the history, and history sure repeats here, when they come to that one loss, immediately falls into W's coming across the board, and it's going to be no exception coming in today from the side of DZ. They get their loss against Wildcard. They knew it was a close series, and I think he said it best as well. 1 round, 2 rounds go into their favor. They're the victors going into that series. In today's matchup, it is going to be a hurdle, and I mean a hurdle for Fun.
So not only, Lax, is this David versus Goliath, and we highlighted the head-to-head where For Fun is behind in every category, but they have to do something that has never been done before. Is that what you're telling me?
They have to make them lose 2 times in a row.
Hasn't
no
happened
one's
this
been
year.
able to do
That's
it.
crazy. I didn't realize, like, that's the entire year's worth of matches.
Thank you for finding that too, because yeah, that was insane. I said something small about it, and he dug deep and found just a plethora of wins versus like 3 losses.
Yeah, it's an insane stat.
Well, DZ, they did have their struggles in that game against Wildcard yesterday. I mean, otherwise they would have come out victorious. We have another inside look into the comms of Dark Zero when those struggles were happening.
I'm gonna drone once. You're just fine. This guy for me loud.
There's a Nitro 4 call, okay? Nitro 4 call.
I heard.
Mute. Locking up, Nish. Yeah, Nitroing. He's Nitroing me. Bad Nitro. I'm good.
Where fire?
I'm calling him.
Nish. Nitro me again. Bad Nitro. Still rafter on me. On my body, boys. On my body.
I can't help. I cannot help. Power me.
I'm hopping in. Got me, bro. On your body.
Still here. It's still middle after. Middle after still.
Coming after door.
Bottom garage.
Kill him.
After dead. Low garage on him.
One more top. One more
Lower garage
top.
1 HP.
Lower
Lower
garage,
garage 1
1
HP.
Bugs here to power top.
I'm injured to the smoke. Lower garage.
I'm coming tools with you.
It's Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Harry Potter.
I'm garage.
Man, I love that little desk slam there at the end from NJR. That is a classic going back to coaching him on DZ. A little bit of frustration there, but I actually struggled to see what Kino kind of meant. I went back in a lot of those rounds, and again, in that interview, he's talking about some of the calm issues. Well, if that is what we're considering a calm issue, I don't know. I mean, they just kind of struggled to clear the Raptors player. The Raptors player kind of smoked the guy off the Raptors door and hit a great shot, which is the Weapon 94. What can you do against that? But I really wanted to show that round because that's what Guz was asking for yesterday.
I mean, that was their issue, and those comms really weren't that bad. It was just Kino in a Hell in a Cell. Everyone tried to assist. It was just Wildcard. It was one step ahead, and they closed it out. That's really what that game came down to. It was a game of inches, realistically.
Yes.
So that's why we're painting this picture for fun, that this really is going to be a big juggernaut of a team to try to get over.
Well, Dark Zero in that series yesterday, they showcased one of their best maps in the entire pool. They showcased Chalet. Today, for fun, not going to allow that to happen. The very first ban right off the bat. It means we're going to end up on Lair, Cafe, and potentially Labs if For Fun can pull off a map 1 win. It's really going to come down to that, though. Their performance on Lair lacks. Do you like this pick for Fun?
So I like it in a sense of this is probably one of their better maps. However, Dark Zero's 4-0 on it. You're not going to find comfort on any map going against a juggernaut like Dark Zero. However, the sample size for them on this map, they only have 2 wins, and that's over SR. So they're thinking to themselves, okay, well, we beat SR twice. We had a very convincing win the last time. This isn't the same team. That's also not the same SR that you played in a best-of-1 night. And again, they did play against each other in the group stage. It was a 7-5, but that was also the very first play day. DZ has had so much time to improve, and now we're in a best-of-3 series. They came off of a loss. I'm not liking the map.
Yeah, it's a scary map pick because I'm even thinking back to kickoff where this was their best map, and the filter stairs became known as Kino stairs as he made play after play on those against SSG. Sorry, Dream. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard because like there's no good map to pick into against DZ. You look at even Cafe, which is the next map pick. Really, that's a map where DZ actually has been struggling, where they got 7-0'd previously by M80, and they also lost to Wildcard 7-5. So look, I want to say maybe there's a little bit of hope if we see For Fun kind of countering just like they did against SR. Maybe we see Volsper getting super aggressive on the Azami if DZ
I was about to say, if they leave it up. However, I think if there is something to really hold on to outside of obviously the entire team showing up, playing systematically, fundamentally well, it's that conversion rate. If they can get those opening kills swinging into their favor, and we saw how close they were, it was by like 2%. They get those opening kills, and they're able to convert those into rounds 1. That could swing into the side of For Fun.
And we did notice that yesterday. Dark Zero actually struggled on the opening kill department, right, versus Wildcard, and they were still able to win that match. Well, For Fun, you're going to have to do a little bit better than that. You're going to have to capitalize on every single one of these and not give DZ the lead.
Well, we saw it there a moment ago for Fun. They're sporting the jerseys. They're all smiles right now. Can they keep that attitude up as they enter the gauntlet against Dark Zero? We're going to go over to Lynx and XR Troika to find out.
And to find out and see if really David can be Goliath in anything but the stories, For Fun have had a promising stage, certainly a promising stage to get to this point, but to beat the Salt Lake City champions, I feel like we always get these matchups, and you and I always think a little partial to the favorites coming in, but every time you do just have to look at this matchup and wonder, surely Dark Zero's luck doesn't run out today.
I think, I don't even know if it comes down to luck for DZ. Like, they looked pretty good yesterday against Wildcard. It was a great series. They've got a little bit of a tumultuous history with Wildcard as well of DZ. They've got less of a history with For Fun. For Fun being one of the newer teams inside of the NAL and doing a fantastic job to qualify for playoffs in that 6th place spot. Only 1 spot behind Shopify Rebellion, mind you, who of course we've just watched beat 100 Thieves and advance through this lower bracket. The lower bracket is shaping up to be an absolute doozy. I know there was a lot of focus on the upper bracket for NAL, as there should be. You know, it's a fantastic position to be in inside of that upper bracket, but with SR qualifying automatically into it, DZ losing their game yesterday against Wildcard, we now get games like this to feast our eyes on. And For Fun have got a chance here. They've got a best of 3 professional Siege playing teams chance, but That's as far as I would stretch that chance. DZ have an incredible map pool, and For Fun have clearly found some difficulty in the veto, getting somewhere that they are comfortable, given that they're going to Lair as an opening pick map here for DZ, and then for themselves, and then DZ themselves picking a cafe, again a map that we don't have a lot of record or a lot of success for Fun on. I think it is going to be a very difficult series. That doubled in with the fact that this is the reigning major champions. Like, they ain't missing EWC, right? Surely not.
And especially with such a really close game and a really great game against Wildcard yesterday, while they came up short, it wasn't maps where, the maps they lost were all 15 or all 12 rounds. Extremely close affairs. Those are going to happen. But to return back to For Fun, while the veto overall might be problematic, For Fun certainly have good showings on Lair. That SR game just a couple weeks ago with really great individual performances, but also just some of the best actual team play we've seen from For Fun this whole stage. Going up 6-0 and then closing out the game 7-3 against SR. Now, of course, it's just one best of one, but they've been able to bring the fight against big teams before. On this map, they've been able to do it in this very stage. The question whether or not they can do it today is a separate one, but considering that, For Fun might have at least a better chance here on their pick. We might otherwise think. Dark Zero starting out on the defense. Ban phase has gone through. We're unfortunately denied an interesting defensive ban, so it will just be the normal hard breach denial duo we see taken off in a lot of these games. For Fun, on the flip side, Ollie, focusing heavily on the intel game to start.
Yeah, they're going to be bringing that Dokkaebi and, of course, that Blitz. Monty is usually preferred on this top floor clear, but Blitz can do a very good job. They are going to have a bit of a task, though. NJR is clearly cooked. Well, him and Jane, I know, I guess, because, well, and Fultz, because they're all involved in one way or another. There's a mirror window on the ops wall. There is a Kiva barricade next to that mirror window. The mirror window's on a soft wall, by the way, and then NJR is going to be playing that in a fairly aggressive position. I mean, it's genius, because the mirror on the soft wall is so much of a vulnerability. However, when you throw into the fact, we'll just put a Kiva there so you can't immediately get banged, you should be able to hold there for some time. Kino tasked with holding the backside of things, and For Fun seemingly scratching their head a little bit at the moment as Mike W gets into his last Rotero drone. A great tool to deal with this utility, but it looks like it's being committed elsewhere.
Yeah, it's a difficult tactical quandary for Fun. If they want to push into ops, they'll have to deal with all of that utility. But by the flip side, if they decide to rotate bridge, I think Dark Zero are clearly ready and expecting that. So the attack hits the rotate, Blitz pushing in, and Packer starts off with 2 big kills pushing the front side. 3, in fact, switching to the Bailiff. Bino finding a clean way in. Begins to put this diffuser down. They've carved their way effectively through the site. And while Newers gets 1 kill, the broader For Fun assault is generally successful. Newers looking to retake behind or in front of his own mirror window. One player prone around the corner, ready, pre-aiming that. Landing in a 2v2 with Jane, I know. Stuck by the Dokkaebi call, gonna lose quite a bit of his HP. Drop a little bit of fire near the diffuser as well. One attacker, I believe, just coming in from the backside. Silo over by the single window, gets the final 2 kills. And I was worried that maybe Dark Zero would have forced For Fun into a difficult position, push a place that the defense was expecting. And even if they were, that promise mitigated when you just kill them all.
Well, just kill them all and just kind of ignore it, right? Like, oh, NJL's got a nice setup inside of ops. Anyway, we're just going to push Skybridge side. We're going to take control of Green Stairs. We're going to deal with Kino, and we're just going to start to flood through that breach because they've left it soft for a rotate. Great gap spotting there from the side of For Fun, and obviously Packer leading the charge in a lot of ways with a load of kills there to really open things up. A good round for Fun. Rounds don't always come easy to the defenders. Fultz, we've got friendly fire disabled nowadays, brother. How have you ended up on 20 HP? I can only imagine it was one of the flame ingredients. Yeah, there it is.
Yep.
I mean, that's one way to give an advantage for Fun, I guess. They'll take it.
Hey, anything to put down the barbed wire. At the end of the day, as long as you get the barbed wire, it doesn't really matter what happens.
Jokes aside, it is like it will have been intentional to get rid of that ingredient. I'm sure he was trying to like melee it and just run out of the way or whatever. However, getting rid of those ingredients is really important because if you don't get rid of them, it will just destroy the utility that's placed in it. So that barbed wire, if it's still there and there's an ingredient there, just shoot the ingredient. It's obviously shootable. The barbed wire isn't. You have to get up and melee it or use a piece of utility for it. It'll just destroy the barbed. So it is advantageous on occasion as a defender to destroy some of those ingredients and just enable you to play some utility that you deem a little bit more effective in that spot. And I think it's widely considered that barbed wire is going to be better in a lot of applications rather than those fire ingredients, but not the desired outcome. Still, it won't have too much of an impact on the round, I daren't say, because it is going to require some sort of a clear from the looks of things. Now, a clear has kind of fallen out of fashion a little bit attacking this bomb site, but looking at the positions of some of these attackers, it look like they could be going for that top floor.
Yeah, it just depends on what the team is going for. I mean, often committing to this full clear kind of get you caught in a tangle of gunfights on the top floor in which the round either is won or lost taking fights against these defenders. Dokkaebi calls going out quite early. Janino suffering some damage likely from one. Newers will take the time to disable his phone, retain the ability to get on cameras, not lose 30 HP as well. There is going to be a clear, usually starts on the op side. So for fun, hitting the normal position for this style of attack. We did see Packer lurking down below earlier. Foltz with a clue towards that position. Of course, the damage done early, especially now that he's spotted on the drone. This is going to make his position, whether it's anti-flank or holding top rocket, a lot weaker. NGR finished off by Mike W outside of the bathroom window. Foltz being one of the main defenders remaining in this position is just going to be an even bigger problem for DZ in light of the absence of both the Solus and the Azami. For Fun's shots landing quite well into the bodies of Dark Zero defenders on layer so far through these 2 rounds. And now, on a first floor defense extended up to the top floor, it's rare that we see the attack in such a firm advantage. Taking time to reset, Razor Bloom triggered will likely stave off the attack for just a little longer. With Mike W and Candela's around the corner, taking more time to clear. Finally, we'll see some of that utility expended onto the rest of this defense as the shield seems to hop not actually into the building, but out. As For Fun Esports instead, Ollie, decided to wait a little bit longer.
Well, they've got the time to do so, haven't they? They've still got 35 seconds, but with the kill coming quickly back onto Silo, Packer will trade out onto Kino. So Newers and Foltz have got a heck of a lot of holding on to do right now. Packer downed in the process as well. So while time for a moment might have been on their side, Packer just looking to try and information gather right now and give a bit of info as to where Foltz could be. It's going to be a hot drop coming in onto the side. Oh, that's not the side that you want to see. Volsper grabbing two. Newers just has to hold on, finds the first. Packer's already down, don't forget. Volsper has to push for the kill here. With only 2 seconds, it's incredibly unlikely. It will come down to a plant, but all Newers has to do is move on through. Packer actually up in the melee. For Fun gonna take the round. I didn't realize that he'd been revived there.
No, I didn't either, but you can see Packer, I think, understanding how close that round came. When you're in late time like that, a res is a few key seconds that you don't always know if you can spend. I mean, going for that plane was already quite low, about 2 to 1 seconds remaining when Wolfsburg started putting that diffuser on the floor. Rezzing him or not rezzing him, either way could be the difference maker in that round, and only hindsight will kind of indicate what was the better option. In that case, taking those seconds of critical importance. Packer might go down, but takes down Newers as he enters the grave, and with 1 player left standing on the attack, that gives the second round on layer to For Fun. DZ, after losing 2 rounds in a row, will take their tactical timeout. It's early days on layer, early days on the defensive side of layers as well. So it's not all doom and gloom just yet, but Dark Zero clearly not wanting to get off onto a cold start.
No, we're going to try and put a couple of these problems to bed early days. I can imagine, Kino obviously made a little bit of a nod to it in the sort of loser interview that was posted last night. Comms being a bit of an issue. Now, something that's easy to sort out in the first couple of rounds and to identify if it is going to be a problem or if it is still a problem is, of course, communication. We've not played every bomb site yet, but that doesn't matter if the comms aren't flowing and people aren't being given the help that they need when they need it. So something that we hear a lot of these teams talking about nowadays is just a togetherness in play, and it was something that, in fact, Packer himself, went on a bit of a sort of tirade about a couple of play days ago. There was a very famous tactical timeout that was sort of aired on the broadcast from Packer, just saying, guys, we just need to play together. It doesn't really matter what operators we play. It doesn't really matter how we play them. We just need to make sure that our focus is that we are playing together. So it's always a big focus. And it seems like DZ are just not having that full togetherness just yet. I think, you know, round one, very narrow margin. We kind of got caught out a little bit. Round two, it seemed a little bit more clear-cut what the play was going to be from 4Fun. And them not being able to deal with it is obviously a little bit of a problem. Back to the top floor we go, though, for round number 3. I don't think that 4Fun will get away with that same style of push yet again. And, well, they aren't really bringing the same tools for it. Gone is the Blitz, and on comes the Blackbeard for Bino.
So retaining the shield, we're bringing a different kind. Dark Zero as well, bringing quite similar operators, but importantly dropping the Mira from the setup. So won't have that same position held over by Ops. 4Fun did try to play this pretty quickly last time. He might be going for a different shield play. Packer with the shotgun. Whenever he moves up Rocket Stairs, will likely attempt to be quick and decisive. Normally, a shotgun always holds this position, or typically holds this position.
Drone active.
We saw in SAL a few days ago the difficulty of trying to push up, say, playing Deimos with the revolver, the AR with the shotgun around the corner. And so, Packer looking to try to gain some kind of advantage in that fight, but with no clear, or at least no real solid presence over towards Ops like there were last time. Dark Zero more spread out and 4Fun, not able to find a gap like they could before.
Right, W, just seeing if you can find a little bit of a gap there. I often talk about him as a really good space finder on this team. But there wasn't much space to be found up there at the top of those green stairs, looking in onto side. Shotgun at close range. No, it's going to be the SMG as Fultz feeling himself, happy to take that engagement against Mike W. Can switch over to the shotgun and point his attention toward that sky bridge. A very important opening pick here for DZ.
Sell them out!
Extremely important pick, and now as the utility clear starts manifesting for Dark Zero. A lot of the resources that we saw present in round one but didn't see full use of will now come to bear. Smokes on Rocket, Shumika's inside of sight. Oh my lord, Bino just trying to double swing on Rocket, ends up succumbing to the toxic canister. ADS going down shooting. Kino now can hold both the bottom of the staircase and the windows inside a bathroom. Volsberg, who was looking for some kind of initiative inside, or outside of the single window, excuse me, ends up losing most of his HP. Can't quite find the one tap onto Newers, despite seeing the right side, or left side of his head. Kino now on for 3, as Volster was already 1 foot in the grave. It's SMG-11s and SA Ops City on round 3, as the reattempt to the top floor goes the way of Dark Zero.
That's exactly the round that DZ needed after the timeout, isn't it? A flawless to come straight out there. Loads of confidence in the gunfights they were taking. And it quite literally felt like they had just shut up shop. They were like, top floor, you had loads of control last time. Not today. We are closing you down at every single point of entry. Rocket Stairs, bam, sorted. Fultz on the backside, boom, 2 kills on the round. Everyone held their ground and held it well, and it was all supported really nicely. Kino, like an anti-aircraft gun just in the middle, spinning round as he's needed to throw toxic babes here or there, whether he's supporting Fultz on one side or whether he's supporting the players playing on the Rocket Stairs. Really good stuff there from Dark Zero, just what they needed after quite a shaky start, really, in this fixture. Bino's had a bit of a nightmare there, and he blessed him. Yeah, he's had a bit of a nightmare.
Mike, I like the idea, but they're bringing so much util, we either have to all be bought into the idea of splitting.
Not sure if that was an alternative idea brought up after the round that Mike W brought up during one. Seems to be differing visions for 4Fun in round 3. Could be the reason we saw quite a long time before they committed, though I will say, I say quite a long time until they committed. 4Fun have generally been on the quicker side, I'd say, Ollie. Even if we consider that round a stall, they still tried to commit to something with a minute to go, and clearly recognizing that just waiting till 20 seconds will give DZ full time to prepare, that they would succumb to all of that util. You can clearly see that 4Fun are, I think, making the right decision to err on the side of quicker rather than waiting for no reason. And that's at least good for a team that is, again, such an underdog going into this matchup, that they're favoring decisive play over wringing their hands.
Yeah, I don't think that 4Fun have really got too much of a problem with time on the attack, which is a great thing to be able to say about a team in this position, right? We never really look at them in a sort of itching for them to start getting into the building. They're very good at finding those gaps, and they've got some really good gap finders, you know. Look at this. Packer, this time going to be on Buck, making his way through this top floor. Fultz will grab the opening pick. Packer, not aware that there is going to be Kino playing upstairs inside a server. Pretty sure Kino's heard him there. You could sort of hear it. You could sort of see it in his face, kind of comment that he's walking down Rocket Stairs. And already we've got players looking in position. J9O, I think it is, just prowling ready.
Yeah, I think might have been an assumption favoring the quick entry over full droning. Yeah,
the
as you
timing.
can see. Unfortunate timing for Packer. Looks up at the default. Janano gets the kill. Kino was standing on top of a mute jammer on the top floor, so I genuinely imagine for fun we're like, okay, we're going to move quickly through the top floor. We've droned most of it, and for once, unfortunately, Defender was in a perfect position to take advantage of that. Wolfsburg going down early as well. Fultz getting that kill within the first 30 seconds of the round. For fun now in a position where they don't even really have the resources to mount a quick attack like they could last time. The opening kill came well past the halfway point of the round, and this time, I mean, they're in 3v5, and we're still with a minute 39 to go.
It does sometimes feel like if the gap finding doesn't work, they are left a little bit high and dry, because we've still kind of got Silo just starting to move through now. Again, similar areas that were being occupied earlier by Packer, but the defenders that were responsible for sending Packers to the camera, they are gone to the wind. They are downstairs. No need to play aggressive. There is still Kino on the top floor. He's barely moved all around, by the way. And I'm sure that he will have a very fanciful flank in mind at some point. And the further entrenched that we see For Fun get into this vertical game and pushing in down filtration, the more powerful a position Kino will hold.
Breaching! Using Harvey's charges on the Burt, never a good sign, but forced to do so. Now the Packer's gone down. Kino also getting a kill upstairs. That's two players this flank has gotten kills for, either directly with that gun or the information sent to J9O. Able to hear Packer moving down Rocket. Bino now more focused on flank watch, preserving his own individual life. The team's success, in all likelihood, is not gonna happen. Still got 2 Dokkaebi calls, still have some important utility for the Capitao. Off the back of that realm, the information gathered early, Dark Zero have just done nothing to squander this lead throughout the mid-round, and it was always going to be difficult to clutch a 3v5, and a 2v5 is, well, it'll maybe a little bit easier as Kino swings around the corner, but Dark Zero have the man advantage to trade down. Seems like things will be all tied up by round 4.
Yeah, I think anything that Kino got beyond the first couple of kills, the assist on the first and then the finish on the second, was always going to be a bonus. Look at the positions being occupied right now. DZ are giving absolutely nothing. Bino's on 1 HP and nobody is swinging him. They are guaranteeing themselves these rounds.
And really just seems like quite a simple pocket play from DZ to get the job done, and it's one of those things where you can't always predict how the attack's going to play. You know, if we see a bit more thorough droning from For Fun, maybe Kino doesn't get spotted. Maybe they recognize the presence of mute jammers upstairs, they give it a little bit more credit, and then Kino has to fall back. We see a completely different round. And that's just the nature of the defense switching things up, right? For Fun had gotten used to a certain pace. They'd gotten used to assuming certain things, and especially this being a new site, they didn't quite know what to expect from Dark Zero. And coming out of the tactical timeout feeling a bit fresher, Dark Zero were ready to take advantage from that. And you can obviously say, oh, maybe For Fun should have drawn better, maybe they should have been more thorough. Maybe they should have. I think more importantly, that was Dark Zero really trying to switch things up. They create a bit of a different pace and a bit of a different defense that For Fun didn't expect. And now going forward, I imagine the droning be more thorough. Sometimes you have to make mistakes to learn from them, and Dark Zero are in a good position to force For Fun into that spot. And now, going back to Buck's briefing, look to accomplish a flawless site rotation.
5 seconds remaining.
2 rounds on the bounce after the timeout then. For Fun, of course, still have theirs in pocket.
Attackers are heading
I wouldn't have been too surprised if they'd used it at the start of round 5, to be honest. It could have been a good point in this game to get it out of the way and see if they can stabilize and try and embody some of the playstyle they were bringing in rounds 1 and 2, but it very much is that DZ aren't leaving those big gaping holes open anymore. Recognizing that For Fun are a great team at finding a gap and being able to walk in and move quite quickly off the back of that. They will be reattempting this mid-floor site. And we did see a top clear last time, but this lineup doesn't speak to top clear. No shield being brought by Bino, which is unusual in itself, given he loves to play either the Blackbeard or the Blitz. With the Capitao and, of course, the Scent, you've got to be expecting something a little bit more direct. We were trying to get in, take a little bit of control on this first floor. If you can control the bottom of green stairs, that can always be a really big swing. Just dealing with a bit of utility around this yellow side at the moment. But even getting the wall open is going to be somewhat problematic. You'll be able to do it with Bino, but it will only be a couple of lines of sight if that site wall does get opened.
I hate to have to try to take down Newers inside of that site as well. Plenty of ADS's, deployable shield. Highest rated player for Dark Zero inside of the NAL this stage, and really great series. some of the wild card matches yesterday on console as well. A lot of multi-kills from Newers. Kind of expect that from him over the past few years. You can see Packer has been really trying to find these gaps and take advantage of these little oversights from Dark Zero, looking to do it again. Could maybe go prone at the door and try and get a line onto Newers. Finding a shot on the Wolfsburg. Barricade opened up. He spots him for just a second, but hopping right behind the desk. I mean, Newers just hops up, beams another through the wall. Very rare we see a bunks briefing defense end with the site player getting all the kills. But if anybody can do it, it's Newers. 9-2. He's already proven that throughout this series. 6-2 before that triple kill. Kino looking to get one. Calling somebody maybe to shoot those track stingers, get him a line around the corner, sprints through, but losing a bit of that momentum, a bit of that ability by walking through the tracks. Unfortunately, can't land the shots with the shotgun. Vino moving around the corner, but it's secondaries to get the job done. Huge on-site play from Newers. Big reason Dark Zero accomplished a flawless rotation.
I think if you looked at the lineup and you were able to, beforehand as a defender, decide, like, figure out what exactly For Fun were going to do there, I don't think that you would set up your utility any different to the way that Dark Zero just set it up. They had a deployable shield in the perfect spot. They had ADS catchers in the perfect spot. Newers was playing in the perfect spot. Everything went perfectly for them, and For Fun just walked seemingly right into the trap that DZ had laid right there. Packer got really unlucky. Now, players don't always play on the same resolution or aspect ratio, should I say, that we watch the stream on. So sometimes the scope will block things, and I think that was probably one of those occasions there for Packer. Although it did look quite central, so I'm unsure why he wasn't able to see him, but he did only flash over the screen for a very brief second. So a little bit of a missed opportunity there from Packer, kind of going a little bit blind. He was clearly trying to work off the back of information, but at that same time, you could hear the ADS is working to catch those capital bolts. So there's a little bit of a desync there. The ADS is either not being known about or just, you know, hoping that they weren't there. I don't really understand from For Fun. Well, Packer, if he'd got a kill there, it would have saved a lot of heartache there for For Fun, really, because Newers is then going to go on to get 3 from that position. It really is just going to damage the attack beyond repair. DZ now looking to extend a little bit of a lead here, and 4-2 half really wouldn't be beyond the pale right now.
No, it wouldn't, especially with how these rounds have ended. A flawless in round 3 and only dropping 1 body in rounds 4 and 5. Given the trend Dark Zero of late after the tactical timeout, it's been nothing but excellent so far on this defensive half. First 2 rounds sliding further and further into memory. Only that for Fun right now, as Packer got a 3K in the first round, and I think his other 2 kills came in the following. He's had no kills since then. Highest ranked player so far for Fun.
Since the timeout, For Fun have had 2 kills.
True. Mathematically, I don't know why I didn't put that together, but...
I mean, it's devastating. Like, it really is. Dark Zero they've just shut up. Now, it's going to be more difficult this time, given that we've got a bit of a Blitz Dokkaebi combination, and Bino starting to charge down on this top rocket position.
And they'll push J9O back, but, I mean, Dokkaebi call, Blitz sprinting in, very low utility cost for Fun. But J9O's just going to take the fallback position a minute 20 into the round. Now he'll play behind the desk. I mean, this is all normal paces. It seems exciting for the briefest moment, but a lot more has to be accomplished for Fun, Ollie. And I mean, Packer down below, we can't really see him lurk this time. We got to see some action with that skeleton key.
Yeah, he's going to need to try and get in and displace some of those players upstairs. Get a little bit of information going, utilize that skeleton key. There's even a little bit of utility could target as well, but primary use is just going to be to open up hotspots. Try and stop those DZ players from being able to occupy those spaces. Silo has got his eyes set on the main breach. Wolfsburg can provide quite a good cutoff here as well. Doesn't really need to challenge the angle too much. Ooh, with the thorn at the top of main stairs, though, it does get a little bit more complicated. Bino to try and make something happen here, but again, it's on brand for DZ right now, isn't it? They now know that the breach is open. Guess what? No one's flooding the breach. This is where we need to see the value out of Packer from below.
Oh, timing again. Packer been the victim of this a couple times. Shooting the default cam on bottom rocket. Now that time, right as he activates the skeleton key, that's when Dark Zero takes the fight. Always hate those days when they happen, but unfortunately For Fun getting a bit unlucky today. NJR swinging around the corner, though Bino there for the trade. Quick flank by the defense makes soft work of For Fun upstairs. Mike W and Wolfsburg below half HP. NJR actually more in control of the diffuser than the attack right now, just whimpering over it as he pushes deeper inside of the site. Wolfsburg looking for his first kill of the game and will end the half with nothing. For Fun, starting things off quite nicely with 2 rounds, but ever since that timeout, Dark Zero have not placed a single step wrong.
Dark Zero have just been moving and grooving since the timeout. One of these moments where you look at the experience of this team versus the inexperience of For Fun, and you have to say, we're seeing that on a platter in front of us.
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned the experience versus the inexperience, and people are probably wondering what's happening with For Fun. The reality is the inexperience here is, respectfully, they got their 2 rounds. It looks good, but that's where an experienced team is always then going to exploit that inexperience. It's the simple fact of, yes, you did get those 2 rounds. Now we understand the style of game that you're trying to play, and we are going to immediately counter it. Whether we're choosing to get aggressive, whether choosing to play more defensive, we are going to stop your initial attack and make you work for these rounds. And that's what you're seeing from the side of For Fun, is they're just trying to get scrappy. They're sending body after body. This is something we've already highlighted, where once they run out of solutions, once they run out of being able to adapt, it's just trying to send one body right after the other, hoping the gunfire swings into their favor so they get that little bit of map control. But DZ is going to be too strong of a team to allow you to even get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, they're the major champions for a reason. And if there was a play of the game for this situation here, play at the halftime, it's going to go down to call out in that timeout. I don't want to give away all his secrets, but basically what he told the guys, he recognized they were having a slow start, and he said, we're not being decisive right now. We either need to get aggressive, or we need to just force a newer team with a newer IGL to do something, right? Let's just sit on our hands and create some problems for them and make them have to solve it. That's what we've seen on the side of Dark Zero. We had Newers sitting behind a Jaeger shield in bunks, right, with all the ADSs. They weren't, For Fun was not able to problem solve it. And then on that last round as well, as they're trying to flip their takes back and forth, they're getting stalled out by the smoke, by the Tachanka. There's nothing that they can do.
We know this For Fun team is never afraid of the highest caliber of opponents. It's something that they tell us when we get a chance to talk to us. But right now, they have something to fear, right? Dark Zero are putting them into uncomfortable spots. And right, Newers being able to pop off is kind of a part of that. They're just feeding him kills one by one because it's a little awkward at times.
It is, but they can wrap a piece of gauze around the hemorrhaging, the bleeding that they're showing casing right now, especially starting on their defense. We already saw what they did against SR. Yeah. They had a flawless start, so they can be in the driver's seat here now on their defense. They can create the chaos. They can cause the problems. They can cause DZ to have to fight and find a solution. But again, it really is also going to be on them to be able to adapt as well on defense and understand, okay, what is DZ going for? How can we do it? Do we get aggressive? Do we fall back into our layers? What is going to be their game plan? And that's where they always tend to seem to struggle, is trying to finagle what game plan works best and what is really going to get them the success outside of maybe getting them a couple kills.
Yeah, and I'm wondering what the game plan is going to be here, because we are seeing them take off the Solid Snake, so we're not seeing the wild card blueprint where you get rid of double shields against Dark Zero. Instead, we're going to be getting rid of the vision operators. The Deimos I like, because guess what? They did leave a zombie up. We should see Wolfsburg, I don't know, maybe Two-Brow. Maybe they're switching their things up because they know Dark Zero is going to counter, so we might be able to see that come out a little bit later. But taking out the vision ops and not the shields, what do you think?
Again, that's just what worries me. Yes, you're going to be able to utilize that Azami, but again, SR wasn't hitting the Azami that hard. You can get a buck coming from below to completely disrupt that setup. So if we are going to possibly see that, are we seeing the buck? There is no buck. Okay, well, there's time that they can switch.
But got an Ash.
I assume they're going to be far more aggressive if Wolfsburg is playing in that position. But maybe not. Maybe we aren't going to see it.
Yeah, nothing just confirmed just yet, but For Fun, the one thing we do know, on their own map pick, they're down 2 rounds right now. They need to make it happen on the defense.
They're not just down 2 rounds. If you exclude those first 2, they've only got 3 kills this game. It was a flawless in round 3, followed up by Dark Zero only dropping 1 body in numbers 4, 5, and 6. It has been a complete shutout since College's tactical timeout. Clearly impactful enough. Mint designated him the MVP, and frankly, the results, you can't really argue with them. Ollie, the success Dark Zero have had since then has been undisputed, and now looking to the attack, they're trying to continue that streak with number 5.
Absolutely. It's one of the best things about major events that we get to listen into the tactical timeouts. We get to hear from the coaches and the impact that they have. And then what we can then take from that, and all the stats of like, right, successful round after a timeout, yes or no sort of thing. Who's got the most success after bringing that timeout? There's no arguing it in this series right now. Call out success has been phenomenal, and it's been a big reason as to how Dark Zero have managed to get themselves to a 4-2 scoreline here, starting off on their attacks. Leaving the shields open against DZ, I agree with Lax. I think it is a dangerous game to play because Kino is going to be all over it. Whatever is available, he is going to play. He's going to be on the Blackbeard this time, and it should assist with taking some early ops control. They have actually committed some bandit factories to this as well, but with no one really playing further forward than that and nothing really to stop Kino from just walking in, kind of straightforward to get these things burnt and move on to the next step.
You can see him do just that. So clearly he's a little bit of trouble on at least part of that electrification, but they get the right panel, and that's good enough for the angle you need to create. Fault's down early, though. They used both of his secondary utility, but the primary utility is what we're looking for. Mike W with the next. Kino hopping out the window on Blackbeard, caught by the Uzi on bottom rocket door. Big couple frags by the Thorn, but pushing back in. Jay and I know, good for the cut. Him and NJR make this a 3v3. Suddenly, we've got a ball game again. Dark Zero have lost some powerful operators. The shield being a big one, Ollie. They brought it back to 3-3.
Well, they've lost the shield. They've also lost the Sens. So, I mean, whenever you lose Kino on the shield, you kind of lose the planting power of this roster. You always look toward Kino and where that diffuser is, and the Sens is always a big part of that as well. All new is forced to just run out of the range of that Razor Bloom in its entirety. J9O getting caught out by one as well. That's good utility to burn at this stage. And the Bees are just going to buy a little bit of time here for J9O as he just starts to challenge outside of this museum window. But everything's fairly one-dimensional at the moment.
That's his last B as well. Dark Zero limited on secondary utility. Hoping that somebody from For Fun overswings his pack. They're firing more and more Shimikas at the front of office. NJR just makes his way in. They land on the exact right mark, though. Janino and Newers both falling. NJR 1v3 wins so many of them, but in a position like that, back against the wall, flames at his feet, it's not going to happen. For Fun break that 4-round streak and take their first round since the second.
Yeah, I thought Packer had dropped the ball a little bit there where he allowed him to sort of run in, but the Shimikas, of course, you've just got too many of them. You can zone off too much time, and even if you miss a couple, it is never usually the end of the world. Still, the Echo drones being available there as well. Players on the side of For Fun flicking just to give that last little bit of information. Certainly bringing plenty of information of their own, given that they've starved the attack of that own pleasure. First round after the side swap, and first round what feels like a long time for For Fun, and just some decent siege, right? All they did really was dig in. They got a couple of opening picks. I mean, Mike W's opening kill onto the bottom of Rocket. You don't really expect someone to be aggressively playing the bottom of Rocket like that, and I feel like Kino has gotten incredibly unfortunate because he's obviously gone to jump out of Ops window and try and chase down Mike W at the bottom of these Rocket stairs and sort of get it back as a trade. But I'd love to see it from his point of view, from Mike W's point of view, because it kind of felt like, with how quickly Kino died, it felt like he was almost watching that top ops window for the player to jump out. So Mike W obviously finding two really impactful kills, 2 round-winning kills there, essentially for For Fun inside of round 7.
Now I think another win on the primary site. For Fun will have tied things up. So far, the trend has been at least winning a couple rounds to start. Dark Zero coming back, but Dark Zero only have the 1 tack timeout. If For Fun can really break their momentum here, they'll have to find another solution in round, and Dark Zero might be capable of that, but they won't at least have call out to come into the comms, bring the team back together. Huge round for Fun, not necessarily a must-win, but one of vital importance, especially as if Dark Zero can maintain a 2-round lead pretty consistently in the aggregate, things get real problematic for this defense. For Fun not holding too firmly onto this middle floor, likely stationing themselves, I was about to say, on the staircase. At least somebody with a shotgun playing that position. It seems that is so. By and large, just holding the site, trying to give the utility a lot more focus, and Dark Zero move in pretty quick to the mid floor as a result.
Yeah, DZ take the space that they are given for free quite quickly. Kino now going to start to just advance forward and see if he can further push this player down those filtration stairs. Doesn't want to get too ahead of things, though. We often see some pretty nasty engagements between shields and shotguns on those stairs. Opening pick this time for J9O. It's going to be downstairs. Maybe looking for a little bit of a hop in here. He must know that the player is just there. Oh. It's going to be Packer dug in behind the shield. Oh, brilliant timing. Got to go for the jump in now. Boom. What timing there from DZ. J9 will fall down, but it's a small price to pay for some hella map control right now.
A really smart little pocket play from Dark Zero. Kino moving in to cover his team as they pick J90 back up. Fultz might fall in the fray. Rescuing Private J90. The operation succeeds down at the bottom of stairs. Kino now moving in to put the diffuser down with the Chonka gone, and Silo clearly not in a position for the C4. He finds a couple kills on the long angle, but just the DMR to do the talking. He's way too far away to land any kind of utility, but he's done the important job for the moment. Now Newers, who might take another fight at this long angle. Silo's seen him creep in. Can't just creep around the corner. Newers on the fall off, pops up and takes him down. Dark Zero answer 4Fun's win with a round of their own.
DZ played that 2 versus 1 really smart, just baiting out the plant, knowing that 2 Brow's a mile away and that he needs to try and close the gap to make that C4 work. And the difference between staying and choosing to play the hatch and find the angle, which can be very difficult if he's at max range for throwing that C4, versus dropping and just aggressively taking that fight and being ready for the trade, is a massive one, and it gives DZ the round. Tactical timeout now for 4Fun, as they've kind of been dismantled. It was, you know, sort of an attempt at a dig in. It was an attempt at a shut up shop the same way that Dark Zero did. But giving the shield to Kino and making sure that this is still available just eliminates any sort of time that you're hoping to save, or it even eliminates players like Packer's position, right? He's just kind of stood up playing his day. He's got a Monty looking at him. His deployable shield is about to explode because there's a Rotero drone on it, and he's got J90 hopping in the window. Like, there's quite literally nothing that you can do against that.
There's a great read of the position by Dark Zero in a game that has been filled with good reads so far, on 4Fun's pick especially. It's looking increasingly worrying for this team, especially since, I mean, in the series we just saw SR against 100 Thieves. We saw a close, well, comparatively close game on Fortress SR's pick, and thought maybe 100 Thieves might have a little bit more to offer on theirs, and well, it wasn't a 7-0, but it was a 6-0 half for the Rebellion, followed up by a 7-1 victory on their opponent's pick on the map that we're watching right now.
Bomb located by attackers.
So a team's own pick is by no means safe ground. That logic extends to Dark Zero as well, but given their favorite position in the series so far and continually sharp understanding the positions 4Fun are playing, I mean, even in that round, to make that a 2 versus 1, Silo had to get a double kill with the DMR in hand. That was another round with a 1v4. Dark Zero have had quite a few of those since that timeout, all the way back during the first half. 4Fun in increasingly difficult spots, now turn to Bunks briefing for their next hope.
And it kind of does feel like that, doesn't it? It feels like a hope at the moment for 4Fun. Let's see if the timeout is good for it for them. DZ. The lineup that they've got on display, you would like to think that they're going to go more top clear. If they were looking for something a bit more direct, you'd maybe be expecting Kino to be playing the Monty as opposed to the Blackbeard. And you'd maybe be looking for a lot more smoke and ability to sort of shock and awe. I understand you've got the Ying with those smokes, but Sense RE projectors, Capital are usually the tools that you sort of go toward a little bit. Instead, Fultz are just going to start the round off by picking away at some of this utility here, trying to clear the way for players like Kino, like NJR, to try and get in and make something happen. NJR expecting some close quarters engagements here. He's got the 612 in hand, ready to go. JNNO on the flip side, seeing if he can give him a little bit of information there with those Bs, as those canisters just start to push these defenders around a little bit.
And just one shot from JNNO's launcher, maneuvers them a little bit. Clearly recognizing the difficulty, so many defenders up top. Oh, almost decapitates Kino. Instead, he loses his head to Mike W. Pre-fire around the corner, gets the trade. NJR, big kill onto the Tachanka. That 612 push needed to go big, as Dark Zero would have lacked an actual foothold into the top floor. Now with it, they don't have the full way in, but they've acquired control of the top of green stairs. Just a little bit of pressure they can now consistently apply to this top floor. Newers as well on the opposite side, looking to cut off Silo on the retreat. Spots his head. One shot's good enough in this game, and Silo now down. It is another round where Dark Zero have 4 bodies compared to a deficit for 4Fun.
At this point, DZ, if they wanted to, could transition this into a plan. They don't need to try and search out these last couple of kills. They've got that upstairs control. They've really locked the defenders out of this zone right now. Razor Bloom triggered. Still isn't going to slow Fultz down. Packer's going to be kicking himself for that one. Vulsper now looking to try and add on to his kill tally, which for his standard isn't looking too great inside of the match so far. J90 nailing that diffuser down, putting it into a post, and still there's DZ players upstairs. It's going to be Newers from the top of green to take down Vulsper and put Dark Zero onto map point.
It is rare we see clears like that work on bunks and briefing. More often than not, we see pressure applied, and if the round ends anywhere and they commit to a clear, it usually ends on that top floor, or you go for a half clear over by green, and then you move for a plant down below. But if Dark Zero is going to kill 3 of the, 4 defenders on the top floor, there was simply nobody left to fight for that control. They didn't even need to maneuver for a plant at that point. There was still, a minute 10 seconds left in the round? One of the best, midpoints to a bunks briefing attack I've seen in quite a long time. It's rare to see clears go that well and rare to see rounds end that way. Even this trade right here, losing the shield, J90 wastes no time to move in, land that pre-fire before Mike W can even switch to the shotgun. And kills like that are why Newers gets paid the big bucks to from this team and is currently the highest rated player for Dark Zero inside of the NAL and inside of this matchup as well. 12-3 right now after that round. Dark Zero now up 3 rounds against 4Fun on 4Fun's pick.
Activating camera.
Things not looking too great for 4Fun at the moment then. Cafe is going to be the next map in this series. I believe, if memory serves correct, Cafe is a map that they have yet to win yet. They've lost it twice this stage.
10 seconds to insertion.
Foreshadowing, they already lost it to DZ once. Will they lose it to DZ again? It was 7-5 last time they played it. And DZ, of course, coming into this, the map pool that they have really had the pick of the litter, as it's so to speak, in terms of where they wanted to play this series on versus the 4Fun map pool that is, of course, a little bit smaller. We aren't done with Lair yet, though. DZ still need to convert it. 4Fun haven't been lifeless on the defense. They have found themselves a round, but they are going to need to do a lot better than that if they hope to try and take this one to an overtime, which is the only way it's going if they choose to do it. They'll have to get on 6 rounds, have to force it into an OT here, which means they have to win 3. With the siege we've seen, it just doesn't feel likely. Top floor to be defended then for 4Fun here. As again, we've got what is becoming quite a standard DZ lineup at the moment. Ooh, okay, we have a little bit of presence inside of Ops this time. Vulsper choosing to play a little bit more of a forward position. Usually good for wasting a good chunk of time. It will just give Kino something to think about. Ooh, Packers got into the mix as well. Can start to utilize some of those shoemakers. Usually you end up with a few left over at the end of the round, so no bad thing to get them used early, but Vulsper going to get down from outside, finished off by Newers.
Yeah, and it makes sense we're just seeing that now. That's a typical position Vulsper plays on this map. He played it to great success in the SR game, so clearly not playing the Azami. She survives the ban phase and likely not playing her for that purpose. So they bring her out in round 10, but it's also something 4Fun have played quite a lot. So Dark Zero clearly ready for it. They've got players at the single windows. They've got the shield pushing in, and Vulsper on his way out puts Fultz to 1 HP. Might have even got a kill there if he was just maybe aiming a little bit higher, but still 1 for 1. Dark Zero, well, 1 for 1 if it were that reality, and we're not there. 5v4 for Dark Zero, albeit with a couple players on reduced HP. They were clearly ready for a standard, effective, but standard defense for 4Fun. Kino rotating over now, pushes deep inside of the side. Can't get the initial kill on the Tachanka, while NGR and Fultz face a lot more success. They carved out our 6 room and chopped up the defense. Dark Zero, another streak, 3 rounds on their attacking side. Good enough to close things out 7-3 on the first.
DZ looking really good there on Lair. Bit of a shame for 4Fun, given that was their map choice in best of 3. And with the map pool that they have, you would expect them to be doing quite well on that only choice that they get. They were lacking in just about every department there. DZ, after the timeout, looks electric. We're going to hit a break, and we'll be back with map 2.
Hi, it's Baby Shark. I'm playing for Wildcard, and this is Fractures.
Let's go! Baby Shark! Baby Shark!
That's my dream, the game I fell in love with. But I wanted to sign the contract and tell to myself, okay, I did it. 1 month ago, I was not even pro, and 1 month after, I'm literally like qualifying for a main event, playing in front of one of the biggest crowds in the world. The best thing that could ever happen for me. BBYSHARKK. So my name is Joan Benito. I'm from France. I spent my whole life in Avignon. I felt like it was pretty big, but here in US, Houston is way bigger than where I live. I also love the people in US. I feel like everybody are really respectful. I love it. So one of the only things I miss from France, I'm gonna say it's probably the food. Obviously my family and my friends, but the food. It's not that I don't like the US food, but just in France, I'm used to it and I love it. I love the cheese, the baguettes, the raclette. Oh là là.
Et je suis aussi streamer sous le nom de Shark.
My dad works in electronic stores and he's the one who was bringing a lot of electronic stuff. Oh my god, I had a Twitter video, very famous, where I was literally presenting stuff from these stores.
Merci à tous.
My dad is literally my first fan, I'm gonna say. He has always like believed in me, even when I had some tough moments. He is the one who introduced me into video games, something extremely precious for me.
It's FC, not me.
Back in the days, the only thing I was waiting, it was the end of the school and then playing Rainbow Six. But people in my classroom were a little bit like mocking me. I was like kind of a geek. My idea was just going pro. If I wanna go pro, I gotta play with famous persons. Since nobody wanted to pick me up in their team, I started creating my own teams, trying to IGL. I was probably the worst IGL ever, and my team literally blew up. I got picked up by Hungry, old G2 player, Bibu, old Wolves player, and they brought me in their team. I had like another point of view about how playing the game and how to understand it. I joined another team, Project X, and we were participating, I remember, on the Combine, one of the biggest T2 tournaments. And we qualified for the Cologne finals in Germany. That was my first LAN ever experience at like a very good level. After this tournament, the team disbanded. One day, I got a message from a general manager from Wildcard Gaming. In my mind, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna get picked up, but still a great experience. They fell in love with me, and now I'm here. I remember I was like signing my contract. I was literally shaking. My parents were extremely happy for me. Finally being able to go pro, that's my dream. So Reload 2025, all the context was crazy for me. Brazil, first time I'm in Brazil. Nobody knew me. Baby Shark, who is Baby Shark? Who is this guy? So I had to play well, I had to show myself. First match, it was a little bit like scary.
Unbelievable shot from Baby Shark.
Nobody were literally expecting Wildcard to go deep in the tournament. Very happy of like our performance. The best thing that could ever happen for me.
1, 2, 3, win!
So right after a reload, we end up qualifying for the Munich Major. Top 4 at the Major, it was very good for us, extremely happy. We've been able to prove that it was like the reload was not a fluke.
But Baby Shark had the momentum on the swing!
And we end up qualifying for the 6th Invitational 2026 in Paris.
We made it at Paris, at my home!
I end up playing back home in France in front of my father, so extremely grateful for that. The walkthrough was insane. I had some chills when I entered on the main stage.
Final double Baby Shark!
Thousands of people are watching me playing, screaming my name. At the SI, we end up losing.
All that is left! Team Secret, your victors here today!
Against Team Secret, against Mowgli. Mowgli, if you're watching this, tu m'as brisé le cœur. You broke my heart.
One thing about Wildcard, they'll be back.
I was extremely sad. I started crying. I'm not really emotional, but started like crying. And I'm hearing Mowgli talking about me. This guy did something crazy this year. Applaud for him, etc. I was extremely grateful for his words.
Merci infiniment.
So this is my team experience. NAL Gaming, Make Your Destiny Esports, Mitsura Project, Project X, and now Wildcard Gaming. Being a French guy in America, it was not very easy at the beginning, but I think I proved myself. We are working extremely hard. I'm gonna give my best for them. Calm, Weapon, MVP, IGL, crazy. I would like people to say about me that I'm very crazy.
That checks out.
Snake, Solid Snake, Cloud9, Mr. Bay. Wow, I have no idea. At Munich Major, we showed the world that we were not a bad team and we were a very good team. I love to yell. I love to have with them.
I am having with them. I want that. Let's go!
Always nice learning a little bit more about the players who make all this happen. Baby Shark, as we heard from him there, he just qualified for the Esports World Cup yesterday with Wildcard. Good to hear a little bit more about his background. I mean, I know you guys have been in similar spots, you know, coming up through the Siege ecosystem through the years. It's good stuff.
There was no ecosystem when we started. It was you. There was one qualifier to make the pro scene. I remember I made top 8. That guaranteed you being a pro. I went to my mom. I was like, Mom, I made it. She was like, cool. And I was like, oh, all right. She wasn't on board. But the second I got the ticket out to Boston, totally on board since.
Yeah, once they start seeing those flight tickets or something, where you get a little bit of money or something.
She was definitely skeptical. She was like, who's paying for this? What's all this?
Is this real?
Funny
Yeah,
moment.
definitely opposite for me. I mean, my mom, everyone was super supportive. It was a gamer family, so it was just kind of one of those, hey, can I quit my job and go pro? I'm like, yeah, sure. So we'll make it happen.
Well, the 4Fun guys were in a pretty similar spot not too long ago, and here against Dark Zero, they still have a lot of work left to do. Right now, I mean, these two teams duking it out on map 1, and Dark Zero, as expected, they're able to take the win. They do it after a strong start from 4Fun, but on 4Fun's map pick, for Dark Zero to take the win, that is not going to sit well with this underdog team.
Yeah, I really do believe they needed to get this map to swing into their favor. Again, respectfully, they got those 2 rounds, but as Min said, once that timeout came out from Call Out,
I think they needed to take Call Out of the game.
Yeah, I think they needed to take Call Out of the game. If they could have banned Operators or choose Call Out, they should have banned Call Out, because that really was the turning table for the side of Dark Zero, and they just kind of ran away with it. The second they swapped to the half, I mean, yes, there were some good engagements, there were some good close rounds, but ultimately that's where the experience is always going to shine for Dark Zero. And again, we talk about every key component of this roster. We were seeing it with the Shield. We were seeing it from Newers on those flanks. We were just seeing each individual step up in their moments to bring these rounds into their favor.
Yeah, and just to shine a little bit of a light, in not a good way maybe, but Volspur was kind of, when they were able to defeat a Juggernaut on this map, we're going back to that SR game, and it was Volspur in that 7-2 who was holding down the operations room with the zombie, and here it is. And what's going to be the difference? Well, DZ is going to be able to get the kill. That's the only round, though, he actually chose to go with zombie, right? It was even the first 3 rounds. He wasn't even going it. They weren't really contesting. They weren't really trying to get into the face of DZ. Kind of playing a little bit scared, which has me worried for them. But yeah, Volspur, I mean, he's a big fragger for this team that needs to step up. We highlighted the fact that it's going to take everybody. They don't really have a star on this team. It's going to take every single buddy to be able to have an amazing game. And they started with those first 2 rounds, but unfortunately, I guess the lights just got a little bit too bright.
Well, obviously, Newers having a great performance there, getting 12 kills to his name. Dark Zero will be looking to continue that on map 2 as they move to their pick of Cafe. 4Fun, we know they have their work cut out for them here. If they want to stay alive and make their way to EWC, we're going to have to see a win here on Cafe.
And it only becomes darker for 4Fun as well, moving away from their pick, which they lost 3-7. Now a favorite for Dark Zero on comfortable territory. We've had one series today, Ollie. It was quite dominant. It resulted in a 7-1 for SR. Do you think we're matching that scoreline now?
I don't know if we're going to see that dominant sort of score inside of Cafe, but I do believe that it will follow the same overall scoring, that it's going to be a 2-0, right? I think based off the Siege we've seen, it'd be fair to predict that at this point. Whether it's going to be a 7-1 or not, I'm not too sure. One thing that DZ do have going for them here in terms of enabling that a little bit is, of course, starting off on Cafe defense. Cafe as a map, as we've mentioned already, where we've already seen For Fun struggle in the past. It isn't necessarily a known stronghold for this team. I don't really know that they've got any of those maps at this point, as they're still looking to try and develop and grow and, you know, move that map pool to where it needs to be. Last time it was played, it was a 7-5. That was against Dark Zero. Previous to that, they lost it 3-7 to M80. That was a long time ago, though. That was 3 months ago. So the DZ one, far more relevant, and that would have just been regular stage play here for stage 1. So I don't know that it'll be a 7-1 because they were good for a couple of rounds before. What's to say they're not going to be good for them again?
And they seem to be in generally good spirits coming out of Lair. If we're starting off with a good foundation, so feel connected to each other, so feel capable in this series. It's entirely possible they can give us a couple good rounds to offer, but Dark Zero already coming in the favorites, now coming in the leaders in this series so far, up 1-0 against For Fun, looking to continue their streak of rounds on Cafe. Bans have come through,
Attackers have discovered the location
and because
of
it's
a bomb.
Cafe, that means we don't have double hard reach now. Not really bans we see all that often on this map, Ollie. It is typically in other areas. For Fun have decided to take off Azami and Solus, I will say. We don't often see that operator specifically banned. And Dark Zero on the flip side, Ying and Grim execute ops, their main targets.
Yeah, the Solus is something that DZ will play quite a lot. Solus itself coming into a lot more popularity as of late. Whether it warrants the ban or not, I don't know. It's just a difficult one to say. It's certainly an operator that DZ play a hell of a lot. You have left open some quite nice toys here. I look toward, you know, DMR
RED scanning.
and think to myself, they usually play a big part in these Cafe defenses, given that the top floor is usually where a lot of the fighting will go down, regardless of which site you are actually going to be defended. Okay, the basement, maybe a little bit less so, should I say downstairs in kitchen, but the general sentiment is that DMRs will reign supreme up here. That is going to be something to contend with that Nuers will be rocking. Again, the lockout continues here as Bino tries to hop in his drone and can't even drone the bottom of that reading door. Instead, just going to try and make something happen through the skylight. It's going to need to go down, either remove that mute jammer or further look to try and make a little bit of progress there. But I think that someone is going to be tucked in on that mute jammer as well. So it'd be a shame if all this information that For Fun have got, they would fall foul to a rat play, hey?
Is hostile.
Well, I've already seen it happen once on Lair. Packer is the one who succumbed to it. See if it happens again. Volsper trying to take this fight with Newers, albeit from a different route. Oh, and dies to Foltz down below. Spotted on the bottom of the double window. Now C4 prepped for the cocktail rappel. No lurk present whatsoever. Mike W, whether he knows it or not, just planted a DMR shot into Foltz's chest. But that C4 is still a factor. Likely waiting for information, and he hops in. Does Foltz know it right as he lands? Bino knows it or not. If Foltz just presses one button, the striker's going down, but spots it through the floor and hops out just for safety. Foltz pushed back deeper inside of the site, loses a C4 in the process, so playing vertical is all nice, but he will at least lack some of that necessary secondary utility to place more meaningful pressure on this attack.
Dropping down to the basement as well, potentially for a little bit of flank up those green stairs. Silo gonna find one onto J90. Should be able to move down white as well, as top floor has been taken here. Time doesn't look fantastic, and there isn't a really quick way of making a lot of this soft breach happen, so these defenders are fairly dug in, as you can see. Tucked inside a wheel room. Kino not really given too much of a reason to move. Sorry, NJR it would have been. The opposing SAS operator. Packer now going searching for that lurking player downstairs.
Spots them, but on such low HP, one bullet either way was going to be the end of them. Foltz just gets the better angle. Mike W with a good trade, but Dark Zero keeping things as close as they can. Just sees one creeping up Red Hall. Newers with the cutoff, doesn't take the gunfight. Bino instead creeps in, putting the diffuser down. Silo on such low HP, the only player can cover. Oh, Kino second guesses. While Newers downs one, he gives Bino enough time to plant. Headshot onto the striker and a counter defuse for round one.
Newers has just done it all with the pistol. Absolutely everything. After all the talk of the DMR and how powerful it is, he's like, nah, forget it. We're close quarters. We're going pistol only for this. Cleans it up like a spilt drink. Brilliant opening round for Dark Zero. For Fun will have felt fairly confident with that clear. But DZ just continuing to move, continuing to adapt, continuing to rotate as well. It was false for me. Massive kill here. Packer knows that he's down there. They've got the information that someone's flanked, and he's still able to get back in the fight and pick himself up just as one, despite being taken to 1 HP earlier on in the round. And Nua's doing what Nua's does best. I mean, he's got no business winning that at all. But a brilliant clutch nonetheless.
And Dark Zero getting around that. I think you kind of alluded to earlier. It didn't really feel like it was going their way. They were keeping it close. It was, but by no means should have been a dominant one for Fun. But Bino able to weave in, get the defuse plant down from Red. Viewers with a pistol. I mean, Bino also able to get the plant off in the process. I feel like it's close enough. It should lean the way of For Fun, but monkey timing there towards the end. Right as Bino decides to worry about the double door position, there's just a little hole in the wall. Gives Newers the opening he needed. Big three-piece to start for the players. The top rated for Dark Zero in the series so far. Now as they defend one second floor site, they will move one room over and defend the other. Reading room and fireplace as our next set of defenses, though of course necessarily some presence on the top floor.
As is required. The top floor has to be held. And when you've got a mirror, you're better off holding it, because some long angles can be really nice. It's one of the downsides of banning the slight off-pick there of the Solus, is you do leave things like a mirror, things like a castle up, and if they're available, Dark Zero will be playing them. Packer should be able to make short work of some of these castles on this east side. He'll be able to get himself up there onto the rappel. Seems pretty confident that no one's going to be at the bottom of that reading door, and as he looks over in that direction, we can see his suspicions are correct. Less confident about the thought of a run out, though. It is going to be something that he contends with here. Kino rips him ready on a C4. Another one of those occasions where you feel like if he sent it at the right time, he'd see a heck of a lot of success with that. Top red has been occupied as well now, and that castle barricade is going to need dealing with in a different manner. A little bit of a drone out there. We haven't actually got the top of red reinforced, though, so that is something that the super shorty could open up and could start to try and push in there a little bit.
Just find a little way in. Newers with the first pick. 2 opening picks in a row for Dark Zero now. Wolfsburg just bobbing and weaving to evade the Razor Bloom. Mike W trying to recreate the nade from below era, opening up a hole through the floor, banking it through. Doesn't really force Fultz out whatsoever, holding that same position. He takes down Bino, and Mike W still left without any clear answers to this position. I think he just spotted Fultz's head briefly. It certainly doesn't mean anything in the long run. Wolfsburg's been on red for basically the entire round, the same amount of time that Mike W's been below. For Fun, don't even really have the pieces to put together a puzzle. The box is still well closed. This mirror window, 40 seconds remaining, not only still solid, not even cracked. Dark Zero can play behind whatever positions they want and will continue to do so. Mike W with a line on the mirror around the corner. Can he at least land the free fire? That seems unlikely. Newers with the first and the last kill in round 2 as Dark Zero start off with 2 in a row.
It's the problem solving, isn't it, for Fun, where they're lacking at the moment, and it's something that the desk touched on. It's something we've touched on all stage long, that when you leave gaps, when you leave space, they're very good at occupying those gaps in space, and a lot of times you can kind of then bait them into positions that you then want to try and take advantage of them in, because you know that they're going to be in a less than favorable spot. And then it comes down to the problem solving. Mirror windows, there's nothing to deal with them. Like you said, they're all solid. Now, granted, a lot of gunfights have been lost, but it's mirror windows and castle barricades. Like, we know how we need to be dealing with mirror windows and castle barricades. Bring on 6 castle barricades are done, then you can deal with 1 each. Bring nades, you can deal with castle barricades. Bring Ash, great tool for both. Even bring the Kali if you fancy. Another great option for both. I'd love to be a fly on the wall. I'd love to be listening into what Packer's got to say right now. So I imagine some of it has to ring true, right? Some of it has to come back to this problem solving.
Always an emotive one in these TAC timeouts, and I could say that about any Packer tactical timeout, and I would like to be there. I would like to know what was being said. Either way, I imagine at least part of the focus will be thinking about what site they'll have to deal with next, is both second floor sites won. If your options are third floor and first floor, well, I know which one I'm betting on every day of the week, and it will be this bottom floor site. One teams always end up going to at some point, and the one you can expect a full 5-man hold on the bottom floor, somebody holding bottom white, maybe somebody pushing out to bakery, but by and large, the third and second floors will be seeded by Dark Zero. So, I think one nice thing, Ollie, when we talk about problem solving, on this map, there are certainly plenty, or on this site, there's certainly plenty of problems. But generally, maybe the simplest, at least initial setup when you're attacking a side on this map. There's literally nobody on these top floors.
They're very, very 2D problems, right? It's all happening on one level. And when you start to add multiple levels in, then that's when the problems can get a bit much. NJR, hello! That's a bit of a problem. Would have been a problem if he'd have got an opening pick. As it stands, he can just sit and aggress onto this angle now. This is the confidence that DZ are playing with at the moment. Happy to challenge pretty much everything. I think they know that they've got 4Fun rattled in a big way. Only 4 kills across the first couple of rounds for 4Fun, so it's kind of every department where they're falling short at the moment. IW should be able to get his boogie drones in and make a little bit of something happen here. Vulspa coming in from the top as well, so you would expect flanks to be fairly well sorted. But there is a rogue player up here from Dark Zero, and I do wonder if they get droned. J9O just going to be hanging around on that top floor. A little bit of an unorthodox position. Fulls' spot as well. Like, DZ are really gunning for this fight. They're not giving this map control away for free.
We talk about them posing little problems. 3-man hold on the second and third floor. This is a problem we do not often see. 4Fun forced into a much more time-consuming roam clear than they otherwise would have got. And Dark Zero trying to take advantage of the team's inexperience, just like we saw with that Kino mute jammer on layer. This is the exact same kind of strategy. Play more, not play more aggressive in terms of taking gunfights, but be more assertive at the control you're taking early in the round. Make them clear you and call their bluff. Predict that they won't do it. NGR with the first pick onto the vertical control. They can't even get the boogie drones down on a kitchen attack. What's so often an afterthought, something you throw in through the window and don't even think about. Something 4Fun can't even accomplish when attacking Cafe right now. J9O looking to bait in attackers into the gun sight of Newers. Volt's tagging on for another. He almost gets him on the hip fire, and they get him on the clear. Dark Zero with an unorthodox strat. Take advantage of 4Fun and now have won 3 in a row.
DZ are looking fantastic at the moment. There's individual performance, yes, and we're seeing big pop-off plays from people like Newers, but ultimately they are in full control of this series. Another round where they only lose 1 body. They've just fronted up to 4Fun and just said, you know what? We're not even going to get fancy with it. There was barely any utility commitment into that, like, multiple floor roam. J9O might have had a Grismot mine upstairs, but aside from that, nothing. Not too much going on for Fultz either, as he was stuck inside a train. He's just happy to sit in angles and saying, you know we're here. Clear us then. Do something about it. Because at the minute, 4Fun have not got that answer.
In case you were curious, J9O actually did only commit 1 Gershbot to that round. It's possible. I mean, he threw that, and he threw them at the midpoint of the round, so he did commit a couple, but they were entirely reactive. If there was,
I mean, it's a couple of Grismots. I don't care if J9O dies with 3 in his pocket, as long as he's getting kills and doing his job. Who minds?
That's what I mean, right? Like, the maximum utility allotted before the mid round was maybe 3 Razor Gloves, maybe. Yeah. And then Gershmot's placed in reaction where the attack was pushing. There was nothing to make that roam happen other than willpower, basically. Dark Zero clearly have no shortage of that. And at this point, who can really blame them? I mean, if you track the game back to layer, Dark Zero now won 6 rounds in a row at the moment. Completed a flawless side rotation on Cafe. 4Fun have already burned their tactical timeout. We're in real danger of repeating that SR 100 Thieves game with a 6-0 start on map 2. 4Fun seemingly running out of options as Dark Zero continue throwing the strat book at them. I mean, we've technically seen this lineup before, but we saw the Castle Mirror for a reading defense. Now we're on Fireplace.
It does feel like the occasion has got to fall fun a little bit in this instance, doesn't it? You know, because we've seen these players play with confidence. We've seen them do great things. Wolfsburg in particular had a fantastic performance against SR in the game that 4Fun won in the regular stage. And he's been quiet as a mouse in this series so far. He picked up, what, 1 kill on Lair? We're currently into the 4th round right now. Okay, it's not over, but it's currently got 0. And that's not someone that you can expect to just sort of fly under the radar and not put the work in. 4Fun need a performance to have everybody. They don't have a talisman star. They don't have a big player. Everyone needs to pull their own weight. So far, we're not seeing that. Another round, another opening pick here. Nuas takes down Stylo. Takes a bit of damage in the process, but even then, Wolfsburg can't land the finishing blow.
He even finds a way to drop without exposing himself to the rappel. Wolfsburg's not actively holding that angle anymore. But now Nua's trying to take an aggressive line against the Nomad. Even on the low HP, you almost favor him for this. It just seems Dark Zero can't do anything wrong at the moment. Double Mira setup on the top floor. You can tell 4Fun understandably starting to struggle for answers. Ooh, X-Kairos getting caught in the windowsill. That's a bummer. Just, I mean, completely stalled on this rappel at the moment. I mean, we can see a lot of the right positions. Bino on the cocktail rappel will look to make his way in as the defenders have all dropped off. But now it's just a hollow setup. The Dark Zero have vacated at their own pace.
Yeah, and it'll still take a couple of seconds for 4Fun to start to move through that with the confidence, knowing that it is all clear and it is all available. And in that time, DZ, what can they do? Well, they can reposition downstairs. They've got C4s at their disposal. NJR, heartbeat scanner. They will know where these players are upstairs, and they will be able to do something about it. Packer will just open up a little bit, but he's used his last 2 X-Kairos pellets on the vert and then gets greeted by a castle barricade. Oh, this guy can't buy a break this game.
Yeah, that's a real bummer. I mean, Mike W will have to waste a nade on that. I mean, thankfully it doesn't take too long, but again, 10 key seconds that Packer spent doing that. Frustration might start to build as well. NJR, I think through the floor, finds a shot onto Wolfsburg. Doesn't have a C4, just trying to take fights against the players on the windows. Look at the confidence on this. There's absolutely 0 reason to peek that window, 0 reason to keep crossing. For Dark Zero playing with the confidence that comes with invulnerability. Fultz, a couple kills to end things off, but you could add any name to that scorecard, and it would be basically the same result. Completely expected for DC at this point, and just running away with Cafe.
It's starting to feel more and more like a formality, isn't it? DZ are running through 4Fun, quite literally 4Fun at the moment. In a contest which we were giving its credit and giving 4Fun, you know, I love an underdog. I love a story where you see an underdog come in and put in a performance. But at the moment, 4Fun have just laid down on the floor and said, just whatever you need, take it. And DZ are obliging right now. We're seeing some fantastic siege out of DZ, don't get me wrong. They're playing the game that's in front of them, but 4Fun aren't giving them too much of a contest at the minute. It is a little bit of a shame. This defensive side was always going to be a good one for Dark Zero, and 4Fun were always going to have the tougher end of things on the start here. But realistically, you've got to give them some sort of... I don't know, you've got to give them some sort of belief, because if this is DZ's map, then 4Fun have chosen to start on this side. Like, they were expecting to get rounds on the attack here.
Expecting or hoping?
Well, we all know that hope isn't a strategy, so I would like to think that they were expecting.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, your point is very valid, because at this point it looks like it was hope, doesn't it?
Dark Zero continuing to switch things up against 4Fun. We've got the Miras as a consistent fixture of a lot of these second floor extensions. But now they brought in the Pulse since the halfway point, and clearly again trying to add some layers, you know. The attack clears out the mirror windows, they push in. What's the normal thing we've seen on Cafe for years now? The idea being we'll throw up C4s, hopefully they hit their feet, hopefully they get kills off the back of them. At worst, Fultz can whip out the heartbeat scanner and get information on where they're pushing and where their positions are. He's doing that exact thing right now over in Train. Normal starting position for a Pulse, trying to find where the attack's pushing from, where the current positions are. Try and give some information to enable Dark Zero defenders up top. Can I play more aggressively in Christmas? Do I have to play more passively? Are they moving quick? Of course, maybe he looks below. If he does, he might find Stylo lurking at bottom brown.
Might be trying to find a little bit of space here downstairs. The drone should confirm that someone is going to be there. Fultz just gives himself away a little bit. Just exposes some leg through the soft wall there. It's available to track. So we can jump in the death mark and try and get a beam on him, but I don't think that Mike W's got the space to really push in and make anything happen off the back of that. Stylo now going for the target. A lot more focus on information inside of this round. It seems that 4Fun are just trying their best to get one opening pick, and hopefully that'll snowball. They will find one onto Fulls, but Nuez is immediately there for a trade.
On. Mike W. Packer followed up, though, and 4Fun with not only an advantage, the best one they've had so far. Kino isolated in behind the bomb chassis. Now the only one left. Doesn't matter if it all comes down to kills. All 4Fun need right now is a W. This one is as good as any. Kino good spots one, doesn't land it. Packer a sigh of relief as 4Fun pick up their first round all the way since, what, I think round 7 on Lair.
It's been a while. It certainly has. Better late than never, but it can't be the last. It needs to be the start of many if they hope to try and take this series to a map 2. Because at the moment, one attacking round on Cafe is not going to cut the mustard. That is not going to make the cut. Interesting tack that they went for there in the, they just decided, you know what? All of this information is available, and it has taken us until round 5 to play all of it at the same time. And look what happens when you're able to play a Dokkaebi, a Snake, and a Deimos. Oh, guess what? You know where people are. So all this Dark Zero lurking that we've been seeing, where DZ have just been sitting in corners and sitting upstairs and going, okay, you know where we are, deal with us. But you don't really know where we are because we're going to decimate your drone economy and we're going to make sure that you haven't really got the information to try and push us. There are attackers that can assist that, and they are very effective. And 4Fun have realized that in round 5. It won't do here, though. They are going to be forced into a little bit more utility for this downstairs kitchen site. But they will be bringing the Roarer. So looking maybe for a little bit of a plan because we've got the Sense as well. Still the usual suspects of the Ram and the Dokkaebi. And a bit of gridlock for some flank support. But really the Roarer and the Sense paint most of the picture here in terms of what I expect 4Fun want to get accomplished. And that is going to be to try and move in and make something happen on that site. But previously, and with the way that this round went last time, you've got to think that in the back of their mind, there is going to be a nagging feeling that they need to go for a clear.
Yeah, I mean, they've trained 4Fun for this at this point. They have played those roams so consistently, to a lesser extent on Lair, but majorly on Cafe, that 4Fun feel like they have to do that. I mean, they've been conditioned at this point, so they'll do so, and understandable, but Dark Zero's reaction makes it even better. The moment 4Fun have any kind of success, they go, okay, now we're going to play kitchen normally. We're even going to bring a cave just to stall even more time on the site. That's been the undeniably best quality of Dark Zero so far this series. The moment something hasn't worked or 4Fun have figured it out, they just switched immediately on a dime. Maybe it requires a tactical timeout. In this case, it didn't. Just a call in round. Well, Mike W might spot one player down below. Because of this complete switch up in strategy from Dark Zero, they'll need to do more work to find a way into the round.
Yeah, Mike W can send his boogie drones out there. One of them will get destroyed there. I believe impact from NJR. Freezer open though. Stylo does need to be cautious at the bottom of those white stairs in front of that, but an opening pick in this round as well as Nuez. With the first player to fall, Packer is able to find him. Nuez obviously finding that somewhat comical. Maybe it was a nice angle that Packer was holding, maybe a fully employed, 40 hours a week kind of angle. Or the latter, who knows. Vulsper will be challenging now onto the bottom of these red stairs as with that vert open in the side, DZ are a little bit restricted, but time isn't going to be too kind to 4Fun right now.
Neither is NJR. A lot of laps in the Dark Zero paddocks right now. Aiming for a 5-1 half as only 35 seconds remain for 4Fun to try and find their way in. Bino creeping forward. Razorbloom giving away his position. Fultz with information on 2 different players, but Mike W whips around. Takes down Fultz. Fortunately, the bottom brown gunfight not going well for the smoke. But as Volsper and Mike W both go down, 4Fun began at a disadvantage on this clear and now will continue to do so. Bino to 1vx. Here's one. Just on the other side of the counter. Can't see him. We'll hop in. That gives Kino a good opportunity. Not taken by the Cade. C4 out. Switching hands, switching weapons so consistently gives Bino the opportunity, but wastes so much time that J9O can move in and put in the final blow. Dark Zero, in the past 9 rounds across Lair and Cathay, have dropped but 1.
The Dark Zero dominance continues, a 5-1 scoreline here on Cafe. For Fun, close to getting a 4-2, which would have set themselves up for success into the second half theoretically, but now 5-1 is a very different story. It seems like DZ have complete control.
Yeah, I mean, 4-2 would have been a little bit nicer going on to the defensive side. But, I mean, on the side of DZ, we can see why this is their map pick. Look at the operators taken out. Clearly, they had a plan here going against For Fun. They're taking out the Ging, they're taking out the Grim, and then they were able to take out the Capitao as well. And why are they able to take out these execute operators? Well, we've been saying it all stage. For Fun, they really neglect to play certain styles of Siege sometimes, right? They always kind of lean into the information meta. So what's actually up? It's the shields. And I would like to have seen them kind of bring some shields. Round 2, they did a train ISO, and they were trying to go for the player inside of green train. They had the Deimos underneath. What would have been nice is the shield probably jumping in and trying to get that guy because they had nothing to clear him out of their spots. And again, that is what Dark Zero's bans are for. All of those operators are designed so that they can kind of sit back after they clear the ram from the top floor. They can fall back, they can layer back to site, and there's no execute ops on board.
Listen, I don't want to be all doom and gloom and say it's over here for him. I think we're all kind of painting that picture of what the reality is going to look like. But even if they do end up coming back, as you said, I think they really have to play into the meta here. You're only shooting yourself in the foot here by not abusing those shields. Also using them in tandem with the information. Like, both of those two key components can win you a lot of rounds. We see a lot of the top teams utilize those piece of operators, and we're instead, again, for fun, we're just kind of bringing some operators here for whatever the reason
for fun.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for fun.
Whatever op they want, Cali.
And they could fix so many of those issues if they just play into the meta where DZ's going to abuse it on their attacking half. You can be guaranteed they're going to bring shields. However, last time they didn't really use, I don't even think they used shields the last time they played. I think it was pretty much all Habana for the side of Kino, so I'm curious if they do decide to get rid of those shields. But again, I did like their pre-placed bans on their defensive half of getting rid of all that utility that's going to force them out of position and really make them struggle on their late round executes. Now it's going to be big on For Fun what their bans are.
Do you see a path here for Fun? Like, are you seeing enough that maybe they're going to be able to make something happen?
I don't know if I'm seeing enough for Fun, but we did and have seen Dark Zero struggle on the attacking side of Cafe. That's when they got 7-0'd. That's when Wildcard was able to bring back or have the comeback. And normally it starts with the double shield ban, which we're not going to see For Fun do. They're going to take away the Snake and the BB. But the blueprint on this map that's been working against DZ is to use the Vision, use the Valk. Play top floor, layer back on those second floor bomb sites, and make DZ execute. That is how these teams have been winning, and of course, using a ton of C4s.
Funny enough, I was going to say, also to your C4 point, they could use the Mozzie drone here and block and deny a lot of the walls, a lot of the doorways of getting a drone. Oh, they are using it. Perfect. I love that. Exactly. We were talking about in the M80 game. I actually really like the defensive setup right now, especially with that Mozzie, to deny any bit of information from Dark Zero.
So comeback happening?
Possibly. We'll see. They're 4 rounds down right now. They move to the defense. They're going to need quite a big push. Let's see.
Quite a big push that will start here, down 4 rounds against Dark Zero. For Fun now looking to their Cathay defenses to bring things back. The Desk wanted to see a lot of C4s and layer defenses and seem to be happy with the results. Ollie, based off this lineup, they have all reason to be. Dark Zero clued into that weakness, or are they simply just a team that's built different today and can overcome any obstacle?
It feels like they've been built in a different factory to For Fun, doesn't it? Let's be honest. With the siege that we've seen today, it's the only fair thing to judge both of these two teams off. I like the mindset from For Fun. I like the fact that they are heavily restricting the drone game, but they haven't really heavily restricted the shields. Now, Kino isn't going to be playing a shield in this round. He will be on the Finker instead, but with only the Blackbeard banned out of the first round, still a chance. Ooh, Colt's just going for a bit of a Spider-Man angle there, trying to get on the upside down rappel and really catch the player out. Well, the Desk asked for C4s, and that's what For Fun is going to start with. Might W specifically takes Nuas down. I imagine that was sent outside. Could have been sent upstairs. I don't know if Nuas was moving quite quickly and already got himself into Cigar or not.
Mike W's at least moving away from the single window, so it's possible he tossed it outside. Also could have tossed it up above, and as you said, Newer's planning to speed. I think either option is possible. For fun. The opening pick on Cafe. They've actually got it 3 rounds in a row. Oof. NGR, Claymore. Mike W, without any utility remaining, decides to send it out the window. Oh, Bino almost gets sent into the grave. Kino literally sliding down the rappel at warp speed to try and catch the tuber out, running back in. Can't quite find it. Now making his way into the building. Another lengthy pre-fire as Bino's finished off. We wanted to see those C4s. Dark Zero just opting to kill them before they even touch the floor. A lot of utility kills this round. C4, then a Claymore, then a Razor Bloom, and now Packer with the Commando in hand will need to find it with bullets, and, well, he couldn't find it with both eyes open. Dark Zero continue their stretch now on series point.
And I think that's the problem that 4Fun have gotten themselves into, right? They can still play a lineup that looks like it makes a lot of sense on paper, but we all know Siege isn't played out on paper, and with the way the gunfights have been going today, DZ have been in the driver's seat. Mike W just getting a bit too over-aggressive after he got that opening pick. If he retreats back and plays a little bit more passive, great, but instead sends himself outside and gets caught out in the Claymore. Like, you've got to expect the Claymore. You have to predict that that is going to be in play, at least that or an air jab. You know that you're never going to be in a favorable fight if you do that. Looks like he was good for the down on NGR, but NGR got Finkered back up. Of course, Kino has miraculously chosen this round to play Finker for that exact moment, so NGR could be upside down on the rappel on White Stairs to get one of the last 2 kills. Of course he has.
Hey.
Jokes aside, good pick and a good round.
Don't doubt his genius.
Listen, I don't doubt any of the genius.
5 seconds to insertion.
Now series point, Dark Zero. We are second 6-1 on map 2 of the day. Would be remarkably similar score lines, all things considered. 7-4, 7-1, might be 7-3, 7-1. At the end of this 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Might have gone down early. Dark Zero able to recover from an advantage. Even the C4s were not good enough to stop them that round. 4Fun sticking with that lineup again. Mozzie back in play as well. So keeping with a lot of the strengths of what we saw from that last round, or that lineup we saw from 4Fun in the last round when we were thinking about it in theory. I'm curious if Dark Zero maybe going to take it, not even slower overall, but just a little bit slower at the beginning and maybe find some more information and give these C4s the respect they need.
With the way this game has gone, I don't put it past DZ to get this done in the next 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Feels like they've had somewhere to be tonight, as they've been running through 4Fun. Going to be starting off on the upside down rappel here, just opening a couple of those longer lines of sight. Jane, I know, is already in piano, and the positions are already being constructed. Wolfsburg going to be the first player to fall. A quiet game on Lair and a very quiet game on Cafe.
Dark Zero reclaiming their early round dominance. Now looking over towards the cocktail bar, trying to find their next pick. Jan, I know, so quick up Whitehall. Swinging around onto the hatch. We saw one player over on the balcony earlier. Silo creeping up. Oh, cut off by Newers. They're holding every position at the exact right time. They're even putting Newers on cutoff angles. That is just despicable from Dark Zero. They're not trying to leave a single position unchecked. Now with a minute 18 to go, able to get the full vertical, it looks like we're reaching this series' conclusion.
Really does. It looks like Dark Zero are booking their spot to EWC right now. Vertical angles now being held. Brilliant pick there from J90. Packer and Bino to try and hold on. Rat position attempted, but not successful.
Not successful, and Dark Zero only success throughout this series. 7-3, 7-1. Your final team to qualify to EWC.
Big performance there from Dark Zero. I think with the way that we saw this game turn after the call-out timeout, it was fairly clear what Dark Zero's intention was here today, and it was to get it done as quickly as possible. Commiserations to 4Fun, and I'm sure that you will grow off the back of this. We're going to send it to Des for the last time.
Dark Zero will be going to the Esports World Cup alongside Shopify Rebellion, Wildcard, and M80, the North American representation. Looking very fine heading into the second international event of the year. They take down For Fun Esports in a clean 2 maps. Lax, it was open and shut, much like our earlier series, even more one-sided. They were confident the whole way through.
Listen, 4 things are inevitable. Death, taxes, DZ not losing 2 games in a row, and them qualifying for a major event, and that was quite the performance that we wanted to see from them.
What about Canadian making events? I thought he was inevitable.
Okay, if we're adding 5th thing in there.
5th thing? Okay.
Yeah, but no, again, DZ, lights out performance from them. This is exactly what we expected after that loss. Wake-up call from Wildcard, and they talked about it. Kino himself even said losing is a part of winning, and that's absolutely correct. The only way you're going to extrapolate anything from those losses is when you actually lose to even a better team than themselves, and that's exactly what Wildcard provided for them.
Yeah, and that's why I want to give credit to Call Out, not only for helping them kind of pick themselves up in that game after the timeout in round 2 of the very first map, which he's kind of famous for. He's one of the only coaches that calls a timeout after 2 rounds, so just a little tidbit there. But also, I mean, just the culture of the team, how they're able to turn things around very quickly like that, right? They literally have like no fear. They just go into meditation mode and they pull themselves out of it.
And look at that. I mean, Newer's match MVP. We saw consistent performances from him the entire time. 22 kills to his name. I mean, it was truly, I mean, it was, we talk about DZ as having all the components. Like, in every role, they have the best player in their positions, and it seemed like that was the Dark Zero we saw today. Lax, like you said, no back-to-back losses, and doing a nice job of bouncing back from whatever, you know, led them astray against Wildcard. They fixed it, and they got their win.
Yeah, they absolutely did. And I know we highlight, yes, they fixed their issues, but they really didn't have issues.
Exactly.
We were kind of just picking at the smallest thing.
You got to find something with this team.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And that series versus Wildcard, again, it really just came down to a couple inches. Kino said it himself. A couple of those attacks or defenses swing in the other's favor. And then we're talking about Wildcard in this matchup. We aren't talking about DZ. So, again, it's really just another day in the office for them, just picking up on those little things, fixing maybe a few small communication errors, and that's the result today. Flawless win.
Well, Dark Zero headed to EWC. Kino headed there as well alongside the boys on the newest team. His second international event with this roster. Kino, congratulations on making the Esports World Cup. I mean, tell me what it means for you. I mean, with these guys, back-to-back international events, what's going through your head right now?
Thank you, Jonah. It feels good. It's nice. It was a good game against those guys too. And I mean, happy to be here. Happy to be a part of this team. Happy to be a part of this culture. I remember years ago in Atlanta, I was talking to Liam Ashen about this team and this culture, and I told him like how much I wanted to be a part of this culture one day. And here I am now.
Then he took a spot.
These amazing guys. Well, we like traded, right?
Traded. We call that a trade. Yeah.
We traded.
Yeah. He's happy. I'm happy.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys are both going.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll ask the question. Kino, I mean, obviously you talk about the culture. I've been with you for a long time through your career. I want to talk about, obviously, back then when you first started and all the way up until this point, did you look at losses the same that you look at it now?
No, definitely not. You know that. I know I used to get, frustrated. I used to think about, like, the next match, the next qualification, the next major, whatever it was. Like, I got in my head a lot because of that, and I feel like it's mostly because I didn't have any training. I didn't have anyone to tell me, besides you, obviously. Of
course.
In general, like, I didn't have like a whole culture behind it.
Yeah.
To the whole infinite game, be present and all that. Like, and now it's
at the forefront.
Big. Yeah, it's the forefront.
And do you think that your guys' mental edge is kind of what separates you as a team then?
I mean, I don't know. I would say the culture in general. Like,
right,
maybe not just like the mental part, like just everything in general. Yeah, like we're working out every day as a team. Yeah, all of that just builds like a whole,
Right.
Nice.
A big family
Very
unit.
nice.
I can always see you guys no matter what. You guys are always having fun.
And if we have problems, we put the gloves on and we figure it out.
Yeah. Serious question, just for me, I want to know. Game plan-wise, going into that cafe, you guys took away all the execute ops. What was kind of the decision on that instead of maybe getting rid of the information or anything like that? I'm just kind of curious how you guys attacked for fun.
We know how slow they are. They showed that on layer.
Yep.
It was pretty blatant. So, you know, getting rid of the execute ops, it removes like the cheese factor a little bit. Like it's harder for them to do like a C1 kill or like a stack skill or maybe like just like the little ISOs, you know? And we kind of wanted them to go more like the piano like front, just like the more like standard. We knew they were gonna have like 1 or 2 lurks anyways, so we were ready for the gaps.
Okay.
Yeah, just to kind of like change how they're playing.
You weren't scared of Packer maybe hopping on the Blitz, Bino on the Montaigne, maybe they got a BB running at you on Volspur, nothing like that?
You were ready for it, right? We had the triple cross upstairs.
I don't think they've ever run more than one shield.
I don't think they've even ran a shield, it feels like sometimes.
Yeah.
All right, Kino.
Maybe they should have.
Maybe. Thank you so much for your time, as always. We look forward to seeing you in the Esports World Cup. We'll see you next week as you guys fight for the Stage 1 title. Thanks so much, man.
Thanks, guys. See you.
Well, Dark Zero finished the day off with a win. What a way. Day 2, we now have our 4 Esports World Cup teams confirmed. We now know who's going home, unfortunately, for 100 Thieves and For Fun Esports. In case you missed the action earlier, you missed a fairly brief series between Shopify Rebellion and 100 Thieves. That was what opened up our day here on day 2 of the playoffs. That was a pretty swift 2-0 from SR. Then it was For Fun and Dark Zero. Could not see For Fun taking a map off of the Titans, though. Dark Zero, they take the win, a clean 2-0, and that means we've got our 4 teams going to EWC, and we have our 4 teams moving on in the bracket. M80 and Wildcard, that's your upper bracket final. Down in the lower bracket semis, it's Shopify Rebellion and Dark Zero, where we go to next. All that action continues next week. Lax, I know, so much to look forward to here because we've got an SLC Major rematch coming in our second matchup of our next playday.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the series from M80 versus Wildcard. I mean, we know Wildcard was the only one to dethrone them from their flawless streak. However, I am happy with our 4 that we are sending to EWC respectively. So, I mean, we are the best region. Given those 4 going, I have no doubt in my mind we walk away as the North American champions of EWC.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I don't feel robbed at all, right? I know EU, again, I keep talking about G2, but I don't feel robbed at all. I feel very happy about all 4 of those teams, and I feel very happy even going forward. We heard Spiker, man, I always want to say JJ. We heard Spiker say that they're going out to win the entire thing, right? So they want to go extremely hard at M80, and I'm sure the rest of the teams do too. So I'm sure we still have some really good games to watch and enjoy.
Any guesses of who we beat in the finals, or are we gonna?
It's just gonna be another NA
all NA again.
NA final again.
I really do like the 4 teams we're sending here. If it feels like the best 4 that we have sent in a while, they're looking incredibly refined.
I would like to see M80 versus Wildcard in the finals because the Adrian Savage, you know what I'm saying? Like the storyline of both of them defending their title would be pretty cool.
And Laxa, are you going to be out there for the World Cup?
I have no idea.
All right. Well,
I have a contract in front of me.
All right.
No idea.
We'll find out. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to day 2 here of the playoffs. Next week, as we said, that is when we crown an NAL Stage 1 champion. So Esports World Cup is decided, but still prize money, SI points, and an NAL title on the line. So you're not going to want to miss it. Action continues on Thursday, as usual, at 2 p.m. Eastern. For our entire studio crew, for Mint for Laxing, I'm Jonas Willinger saying thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Have a good night.
Tito, tati. Chicos, chicas, niños, niñas, mujeres, hombres y viceversa. En el día de hoy, nuevo directito. Sí, estoy todavía un poco pochito. Si veis que tengo por aquí 200 pañuelitos y me veis un poco congestionado, todavía sigo malo, pero mejor. Me estoy tomando... Ay, se me ha olvidado tomarme... Bueno, me estaba tomando el medicamento. Se me ha olvidado tomarme el de las 4, que me tocaba uno a las 4. Pero bueno, el caso, que ya me encuentro algo mejor, pero todavía sigo congestionado. Que lo importante es que vayamos a mejor. Así que very good. Aún así, hoy volvemos aquí a este hermoso juego que, como habréis visto en el título, no sabíamos si íbamos a jugar Among Us o Mecha Chameleon. En el último momento me han dicho Mecha Chameleon, por si acaso he hecho una mezcla de ambas cosas y que sea lo que el destino quiera, ¿de acuerdo? Así que seáis conscientes que hoy jugaremos en principio a Mecha Chameleon. No sabemos si cambiará. Dicho esto, estamos listos, preparados. Estoy también con todo el tema este de Diosesmon, que en principio creo que...
Hola mi corazoncito, espero ya te sientas mejorcito.
Gracias.
Te cuento que me estoy repitiendo todos los apocalipsis Minecraft. Voy en el 2. Me hacen reír muchísimo.
Luis.
Ya hace falta una nueva temporada. Te amo mucho y me haces muy feliz. Besitos menor que 3.
Un fuerte abrazo. Pues mira, Luis, sacaría nueva temporada de verdad si no fuese porque justamente lo de Diosesmon estamos a prácticamente nada de salir y voy a estar tiempo jugando a Diosesmon. Quiero aprender de Pokémon con vosotros, todo basado en el mod de Cobblemon tal. Quiero que me expliquéis mil cosas y tengo muchas ganas, la verdad. En principio creo que voy a grabar un vídeo tutorial, os lo adelanto desde ya. Grabaré un vídeo de en torno a 1 hora más o menos explicando el lobby, pero paso a paso. Voy a ser yo quien lo explique, ¿sabes? En plan, quiero hacerme un vídeo. Les he dicho a todo el equipo, chicos, si no mañana, el sábado, necesito grabar un vídeo donde esté solo yo, el lobby, y explicar cada cosa paso a paso para que podáis entender cómo funciona Diosesmon. El servidor que más horas sin duda me ha llevado y nos ha llevado preparar. Y después de prepararlo, es decir, porque pensad que aquí ya incluimos mods, y después de que ya lo lancemos, vamos a pillar Dios SMC y le vamos a dar un remodelado de locos que vais a flipar. Si os gusta Dios SMC, os va a gustar 10 veces más. Estoy muy motivado con eso, pero primero hay que lanzar Diosesmon y que esté perfecto. Y de hecho, muy atentos, os aviso desde ya, al Discord, muy atentos al Discord de Diosesmon, porque es posible que aquellos que estéis atentos, este fin de semana igual, ahí lo dejo, ¿vale? Simplemente estad atentos, aquellos que estéis en el Discord de Diosesmon. Solo puedo decir eso, no puedo decir más.
يما يا غالية ما نحسبك خوان يا غالية ما نحسبك خوان يما يا غالية يا شماتة العدوان فيكي وفيا ما نحسبك خوان ما نحسبك شي تجافي ما نحسبك عندك حبيب خلافي قلبي على قلبك مثل الحليب الصافي يزي من سهر الليل ما نحسبك خوان يا غالية ما نحسبك خوان يما يا
¿Vale? Es lo máximo que puedo. No va a haber nada por Twitter, no va solo. Discord de Dioses Moon. Entra y. Ok. No puedo decir más. Dicho esto, ahora sí. A ver si mis compañeros están por aquí. Hombre, chicos, ¿cómo estamos?
¿Qué
¿Escuchas
pasa,
eso,
Vegeta?
Vegetita?
¡Ostras, que sí lo escucho! ¡Wow! Enhorabuena.
Sí. Sí. Es el que no hay gritos.
Es el silencio.
¿Por qué? Está Nefa, ¿no? Ya, es que yo también me incomoda un poco Nefa. Vale, ¿qué hacemos?
Nada, hoy me escribió Nexus que le gustaría cambiar la dinámica.
¡Oh!
Uy.
¡Oh!
Uy.
Y
Vale.
dije, bueno, tú mandas, nos unimos a lo que tú digas.
Oh. La
Bueno,
dinámica.
ya,
Sí.
pero ¿qué significa nos unimos a lo que tú digas?
No sé, ahora cuando venga Nexus nos pasará aquí el código, el servidor.
Ah, vale, pero ¿te refieres a que vamos a jugar Mecha Chameleon o Among Us?
Espero que me echas a Million.
Bueno,
Si no, acabo de engañar a todo el mundo.
Yo me dejo llevar, oye, chicos, pregunta, ¿no? Ahora que estamos aquí, ¿qué? ¿Hoy quién gana? ¿Marruecos o Francia? ¿Con quién vais?
Me da igual.
Con Marruecos.
Me da igual, la verdad.
Yo con el que mejor juegue.
No vi el partido de España, voy a
Qué
preocuparme
poco te
de
has
Marruecos,
mojado.
Francia,
Qué
¿sabes?
poco te has mojado, tío.
Hola, chicos.
¡Hombre!
Hola.
¿Qué tal, Agustín?
No.
Agustín acaba de entrar ahora mismo, justo.
Como una nueva dinámica, ¿no? Me encantaría probar esa nueva dinámica de la que me hablan.
Agustín.
Qué raro, ¿no? Que hayas llegado
Que no
puntual.
soy Agustín, que no soy Agustín.
Bueno,
que soy
puntual.
Vegeta, que es Corco. El que
Ah,
está-
Corco, perdona.
Se ha metido después.
A ver, Vegeta, si me vas a reñir por 3 minutos de impuntualidad, hazlo ya o calla para
Ah,
siempre.
no sé, pero tú lo hiciste el otro día. No, pero esos 3 minutos imagino que
estaba malito, además,
has estado
Vegeta.
presentando. Está bien, no pasa nada.
No, estaba en la ronda número 15,
Vaya.
un Dus 2 que me ha hecho sudar como una ratilla, la verdad.
¿Has ganado?
He ganado.
Enhorabuena. Vale,
Muchísimas
pues
gracias.
hoy, disculpa, Corco, no te había... Tío, pues me ha sonado
No, sí,
Agustín.
ya estoy acostumbrado a las faltas de respeto en estas llamadas.
Ah, no, pero
Falta de respeto de Nexus, que va a traer una nueva dinámica y no está.
una nueva
Oye, pero
dinámica.
muy bien,
Igual la
entonces-
dinámica de Nexus es no aparecer y que nos apañemos.
¡Oh, qué buena dinámica!
No,
A ver,
pero
está
entonces
poniendo
el
en
que chilla
práctica-
siempre. ¿Quién es el que chilla siempre? Que estamos muy tranquilos.
Agustín y Pereira, concretamente, si tengo que decir dos nombres.
El Pereira es un chaval que chilla mucho, sí. Está ahora mismo. Yo le había dicho que habíamos quedado a las 5, la verdad.
Ya,
Pero bueno,
bueno.
me cundirá que llegue un
No pasa
poco
nada,
tarde.
Si llega tarde un par de horas.
También ha llegado tarde Nexus, que es el que ha cambiado la dinámica de hoy. Igual la dinámica
Está
de...
silenciado, escuchando todo lo que decimos.
Igual la dinámica de
también
hoy es llegar
inventé-
tarde.
Yo también inventé una dinámica bastante top, que era llegar 45 minutos tarde y me la criticaste a fuego.
Sí, eso es verdad. Vale, pues...
Vale, ¿hay
pues
alguna novedad? ¿Hay
me
mapita?
muteo. ¿Qué, chicos? ¿Quién creéis que gana hoy? Yo no sé de fútbol, es decir, ¿Marruecos o Francia? Me gusta el salseillo. El otro día vi que mucha gente me... Yo es que no sé de fútbol nada y siempre lo aclaro que no sé de fútbol. Vi la segunda mitad de lo de Egipto y Argentina y fue espectacular. Yo ya dije que me hubiese gustado. Lógicamente, por pura lógica, quiero que gane España. Top 1. Y luego estaba... me hubiese hecho ilusión, yo sin saber de fútbol, de que ganase o la selección de Portugal o la de Argentina por el tema de Cristiano o Messi, que me da pena, ¿sabes? En plan, al ser tan legendarios, ¿no? Que al ser su último mundial, pues estaría súper bonito que ganasen, ¿sabes? En plan, estaría chulo. Pero ya os digo que no sé ni quién es el mejor, ni quién juega mejor, ni nada, tengo ni idea. Pero Francia para Mbappé. Ah, Mbappé está en Francia. No lo sabía, ¿eh? Es decir, pensaba que Mbappé era de Brasil. No tiene cara de brasileño. Mbappé, pues pensaba que era brasileño, chicos. Pero bueno, mira, si es francés, ahí lo llevas. No, Veje, es que no lo sé, chicos. Ya, que no tengo ni idea. No lo sé, pensaba que era brasileño. Me suena más de brasileño Mbappé que francés. ¿Sabes? Francés, no sé. Perrier, François, pero Mbappé, ¿sabes? no me suena francés. ¿Sabes lo que te digo? Ah, Killian, pues tampoco Killian me suena francés, si te soy honesto. ¿Se llama Killian de nombre? Pues tampoco.
Creador de dinámicas.
dinam-
Nexus, te prestamos atención.
Nexus.
Hostia, pero ahora recae sobre mí si he pensado en una dinámica o no. ¿Es eso?
Sí.
Oh, Haaland también me cae muy bien, el de Haaland, el noruego, ese es espectacular. 2 metros de tío enorme. Me sale un montón de memes, es decir, le he conocido a Haaland por los memes, no tenía conocimiento de él. Pero es que ya os digo que no veo fútbol. Lo veo ahora porque es el mundial y digo, yo qué sé, ¿qué echan por la noche? Pues me pongo eso. Generalmente me suelo poner sin chan. O estoy volviendo a ver la serie de Outlander para que entendáis un poco el concepto de lo que yo sé de fútbol.
Vale, fueron 4.
Hola, Pereira, perdona.
Buenas tardes, chicos, ¿cómo están? ¿Cómo se sienten?
Hola, ¿cómo estamos, chicos?
Hola, papito lindo.
Papito lindo, ¿qué tal?
Muy bien, señor Vegeta, ¿cómo se siente usted en esta tarde tan maravillosa?
Pues bien, disfrutando de la nueva dinámica que nos va a traer Nexus.
Joder, tío, se ha corrido la voz de la dinámica, tío. Me cago en la leche.
Mi stream se llama Nueva dinámica creada por Nexus en Mecha Camilio.
Yo debería cambiar el nombre porque...
Con
Guau.
Vegeta 777 y Rubius OMG, ¿no?
Sí, luego va a ser una mierda mi dinámica, tío, y todo el mundo me ama.
No, hombre.
No.
Después de los
Me
mapas de
pega
Agustín y de Willy.
De hecho, Fargan he puesto con Fargan y demás personas.
Qué bonito.
Oh.
Muy bien, Agustín. Muy bien.
Nada, hombre. Que me parece que tiras en internet, ¿sabes? Tenía que aprovechar un poco ese tirón.
Gracias, tío, Agustín.
¿Pero vamos a jugar o es
Va,
solo
o
podcast?
simplemente la dinámica es hablar.
tema-
¿Es un podcast esto, Nexus? ¿Y has empezado un...?
Eso es, era una sorpresa, pero así empieza la nueva dinámica.
Oh, me gusta lo que has
¿Qué os
puesto aquí.
parece?
Chico N.
¿Os parece
¿N?
bien la nueva dinámica?
Sí, es que me pone
Vamos a
N,
empezar a
no me
hablar
sale
de
su nombre.
Chico N, ¿qué significa eso?
Pues no lo sé.
Porque
Nexus me aparece como...
se me activa el
Pensaba
modo
que-
streamer, tío. No sé por
Pensaba
qué.
que me estabas hablando a mí, que me llamo Naiga-san.
Ya tenemos
Vale, a ver.
lobby.
Ay, se me ocurrió un nombre y contraseña muy bueno, pero
A ver.
estaba a punto de dormirme y se me olvidó. Dije, me lo tendría que apuntar y dije, no se te va a olvidar, Willy.
Pues Willy,
Y
¿tú
se me
sabes
olvidó.
que realmente
Mi día a
es
día,
lo-
Willy.
es lo más normal tener buenas ideas cuando te estás a punto de ir a dormir? No es broma. ¿eh?
Sí.
Yo cuando me
porque es el
ducho.
último momento en el que no estás con el móvil. Ahí y en la ducha.
De hecho, Dalí se ponía una cuchara con un plato debajo.
Eso es
y
verdad.
No,
cuando se iba-
eran unas llaves,
Bueno, unas llaves, lo que fuese, algo que hacía ruido. Y
Dalí
cuando
mis-
se estaba a punto de dormir, se le caían, se le daban el plato, se despertaba y ahí pensaba las mejores ideas.
Dalí
Dalí
no
Bisbal.
tiene muy buena fama.
Así empieza la nueva dinámica, chavales, aprendiendo cosas.
¡Wow!
La dinámica de hoy, Nexus.
Increíble
Me la ha
la
petado,
dinámica de Nexus HD
¿Me ha
1080.
petado o no me ha petado?
Se me va mal también. ¿Cuál es la update de hoy? Willy, tú que estás muy
A mí
puesto.
me va
en la
mal
liga.
también, sí.
Tú que
No,
estás
no
muy
he puesto
puesto.
nada nuevo.
Ah, no he puesto nada nuevo hoy.
Vegeta,
No,
¿se me
creo
da
que-
bien el Moonwalk? Mírame.
Pero va muy petado, sí, ¿verdad?
Muy bien.
Sí,
Va fatal,
Agustín.
va fatal.
Sí,
Muy
soy
bien.
como Michael Jackson.
Sí. Sí,
Mira,
Agustín.
incluso
Si andáis
puedo
un
hacer
poco, se
esta.
despeta.
Hago extra de. ¡Au!
Pero una pregunta, ¿cómo puede ser que tengáis los colores reflectantes? Es decir, Corco, ¿cómo te lo has puesto?
A ver, tienes que darle a metálico,
Sinceramente,
te pones al máximo de
Se lo
metálico.
copia Fargan.
Mira,
¿Dónde
dale a la
está?
F. Dale a la F y pon, a la izquierda pone metálico, ponlo todo a la derecha
Es que.
y pones el color. que
Yo-
quieras.
Oh, vale,
Fargan es
vale.
pro player, tío. Fargan, tío. Te admiro,
Va fatal esto.
¿Tú eres de pagar en metálico, Fargan?
Pero ¿por qué va tan lagado, tío? ¿Qué habéis puesto?
No sé,
¿Alguien-
imagino que. Yo
alguien-
pensaba que era tu nueva dinámica de jugar a 3 FPS.
¡Qué buena dinámica! Jugar a 5 FPS, me encanta, Nexus.
Yo creo que alguien se ha puesto hacks, tío, para pillar a los demás.
Yo
¿Cómo
no
va tan
fui.
mal esta mierda? Me fío que sería el Nefa, que siempre.
Vale,
lo hace,
pero
la
puede
verdad.
ser que ahora cuando entremos ya en partida ya vaya bien,
Mentira.
Vamos a echar un
Esperemos.
vistazo.
Pero
Yo voy a poner todo. Que lo tengo máximo, lo voy a poner en alto.
ayer iba mal también, también te digo. Bueno,
Es que me tiran nuevos gráficos,
chavales.
chavales.
Tengo un mapa, chavales, que vais a flipar, Os lo
Oh,
digo.
Guau, guau,
ahí
guau,
empieza
guau,
el duro,
Nexus, Te tengo mucha estima, tío. Te tengo mucha
A ver,
estima.
qué
como
guapo,
creador
vais a
de mapa.
flipar.
Pero, ¿has configurado todo bien?
Oh, qué buena esta.
Sí,
qué
sí, sí.
buena
Está
esta.
todo configurado, sí.
En la casa de. En la casa.
¿Quién vive en la piña debajo del mar?
Bob Esponja.
¿Quién será?
Su cuerpo amarillo absorbe sin más.
Bob Esponja.
El mejor
Menos
amigo
mal
que
que-
puedas tener.
Menos mal que eres,
vale,
cantante, que eres
va.
streamer Vegeta, no cantante.
Ah,
Estamos.
vale, no. Ah, ok, se mete conmigo encima que tengo fiebre y
nueva
eso.
dinámica.
Vale, vale, no pasa.
Una cosa, para los que le va lagueado, si
Yo lo
quieren
que-
ponerlo ¿Qué es lo que hay,
en ventana,
papito?
¿En ventana? Pero ¿en ventana lagueado o en...?
Pero
No,
madre,
en
yo que
ventana
en
no vamos
ventana.
lagueado.
Nesu, la nueva dinámica, ¿qué hacemos?
No, todavía no, luego.
Vale, sorpresa.
Vale.
No va a llegar nunca.
Es que esta dinámica parecía muy similar a las otras que habíamos jugado, pero...
¿Alguien rellena? ¿Alguien me rellena?
Rellenamos.
Hostia, Alexby, cuidado con lo que dices,
el hueco?
¿No quieres rellenar así, Alexby?
Vale,
Así,
Willy,
aquí.
estamos un poco... ¿no?
¿Cómo rellenamos?
Te ha liado, Vegeta.
Así, ¿no?
No, y a ti no.
¿Y así?
Jueguen con... Uf, qué mal color, qué mal
¿No hay
color.
relleno aquí o qué?
No me gusta,
Pero
no me
mira,
gusta.
Nexus nos deja 170 segundos para dibujar.
Sí, la
Te quiero,
verdad que-
Nexus.
Porque soy buena persona, ¿habéis visto?
Oye, ¿vale todo el mapa? ¿Vale todo el mapa?
Sí,
Vale
sí,
todo
sí.
el mapa, sí.
Te amo, Nexus.
Fargan, toca performar, ya te lo digo.
Venga, vamos a performar. Venga, ¿dónde está?
Pero es que aquí me
Bueno,
estoy
ya no hay
jugando,
tiempo,
sí.
¿o sí?
No, yo confío en ti. Yo solo espero que tú confíes en mí.
Vale.
Yo voy a performar a máximo nivel y que me digan algo.
¿Cómo veis esto?
He puesto tiempo para que performéis, chavales, O sea,
Mucha,
podéis hacer high
Nexus,
performance.
muchas gracias.
Estoy ahora mismo hundido, un poco.
Vale, lo he conseguido.
Puf. No encuentro performance,
Alexby, está de coña.
No, yo creo que... Sí, pero es un poco, ¿no?
No es ni mala.
Aquí, Pablo, aquí. Mira.
¿Tú crees?
Sí,
No es ni mala, tío.
¿Y qué quieres hacer ahí?
Mira qué buena esta.
Yo no la veo,
Y aquí.
Mira, es verdad, recuerdo desbloqueado, que en un episodio.
Mira,
aparece
ponte
esta
tú del otro lado,
biblioteca.
justo.
Venga, va.
Hostia,
Sí,
Willy.
sí.
Qué liada, cómo se me está liando, es de locos esto.
A ver, chicos, tenéis tiempo para poder hacer un poquito.
Gracias, Nexus HD, de verdad.
ve el cuerpo, ¿no?
Muchas gracias, Nexus HD.
Yo sigo corriendo por el mapa.
Chicos, nadie le agradece a Nexus HD lo que ha hecho.
De nada, chicos, de nada. Qué agradecidos. Cómo me gusta jugar con vosotros, chicos.
Hombre, a nosotros nos gusta jugar más
estoy
contigo,
liadísimo
Nexus
todavía,
HD.
Yo
Vale,
soy hasta de
ponte en
ojete.
altura,
Por aquí, Agustín, haz historia por aquí, va.
Voy muy liado,
Pero, ¿sabes?
Hacemos historia por aquí.
No me va tu color, Jay.
Tía, buena,
Fargan
Fargan esa.
Con el control, baja un poco
No es
más.
mala, ¿no? Pero no,
Vale,
no
sí,
me
vale,
está
sí,
convenciendo,
Buena lo de girar con el control, ¿con cuál era?
Prueba otra forma igual.
Y para adelante, un poquito más para adelante.
¿Con cómo se giraba?
Ahí.
Mantener el clic izquierdo. Mantener el clic izquierdo y con la W.
No es mala, No es
¿Cómo he
mala.
hecho hacia
que
la
no
pared,
sé
tío?
esto,
¿Cómo? No, clic izquierdo, W. Nah, habéis troleado.
¿Qué haces?
Que sí, que es con el clic izquierdo para mover, para
No, no
girar.
me deja, tío.
Madre mía, qué mierda, tío.
Qué liadote, tú, de locos.
Bueno, Willy, tío, has tenido 3 minutos, tío, y todavía no te has puesto en ningún lado.
Pablo, haces.
¿Cómo giro, tío? ¿Cómo se giraba?
No, no hagas caso a Nexus lo que te va a decir.
Que no, que es verdad, que es que no
La
es
nueva
que
dinámica.
¿Qué?
¿Pero por qué me dice que estoy enterrado, tío? Si no estoy enterrado.
Como la bola de Agus.
Nefa, tío.
La abuela de itinerario.
Bien, Nefa.
No, a ver,
Bien, Nefa.
te pregunto, a ver, soy el que pilla, tendré que saber cómo es la nueva dinámica, ¿no?
Métele full zoom.
Vale, es.
Me da tiempo a performar, chavales, no rayéis.
Hostia, Nefa, tú, madre mía.
Wow, Don Vegeta, estás muy bien.
Gracias. Gracias.
Yo,
Willy.
pillo.
Gracias, Willy. Luego te pago
Pero
lo
piensa
que.
te van a ver desde abajo, yo pondría un poquito más abajo las cosas.
A pillar
Bueno,
Nefa.
salgo ya, chicos.
Qué bien pensado, Willy.
Por favor.
Estás fuerísima, Agustín, que lo sepas.
Y yo también estoy
Bueno,
fuerísima.
eso me dicen siempre, pero luego soy el que marca la diferencia.
No, te lo digo.
He performado muy bien, No voy a decepcionar.
Vale,
Nah,
perfecto.
Fargan, otro día más, Fargan. Nunca
Nexus
fallas.
es buenísimo.
Voy a verte a ti, Pereira.
Nunca
Fargan es muy
fallas.
bueno.
No me decepciones. Voy a
A ver
verte.
si da pena.
No me lo puedo creer.
Hostia, Vegeta.
Pereira es muy bueno.
Vegeta está bien
también.
también.
Oh, hay nivel aquí,
Sí.
Hay nivel, hay nivel.
La nueva dinámica es dejar un poquito más de tiempo para que haya más nivel de los escondites.
Wow.
¿Esa es la nueva dinámica?
Vale,
¿Y en la
muy
nueva
bien,
dinámica
Pereira,
hay que rolear cuando ves a alguien disfrazado de grifo o no?
No,
Sí,
bueno.
No, está pillado.
A ver, no hay nadie de
Ahí no hay
grifo,
nadie,
Nefa.
Ahí no hay nadie.
Ahí hay alguien, lo dudo. ¿Quién es este?
Ahí no hay nadie.
En la nueva dinámica hay que dinamizar el grifo.
¡Ay, que le doy! ¡Ay, que le doy!
No le sumen 1158 puntos.
¡No!
Oye, lo de rolear para sumar puntos, me cago en.
Nefa, ¿te lo han dicho por el chat?
Sí, porque chat, si yo no estoy en directo ni nada.
Ah, vale.
Oh, vale, tiene los directos
Con
abiertos.
mis amigos.
No está en
Bueno,
directo.
pues, Willy,
pero
chicos,
están todos directos.
Alguien
Podría
tiene
corregir.
la V abierta. Alguien tiene la V abierta.
Podría
Me callo,
corregir.
¿vale? Agustín, me callo.
Sí, es hora de pedir perdón, tal vez.
Muy bueno, Vega, el tuyo, me gusta.
Willy,
Gracias.
Era clic derecho, Willy, era clic derecho, que se me he equivocado antes.
Vale.
Clic izquierdo, pero era la D.
Nefa, no hay nadie en esa sala, no hay nadie. Exacto, ahí tal vez.
¿Quién es Lefa? Lefa no es Nefarius, es Nefarius. Nefarius no existe por ahora.
Oye, qué buena. Fargan. Fargan es muy buena y te tengo que decir que para mi gusto, la mejor, Fargan.
Uy, cómo me gusta que Willy sea mi
Aunque
hater, porque siempre que
Papito
habla
Mota.
sube pan,
Papito Mota, wow. Wow.
Estoy performando.
No.
La verdad que estamos performando todos muy
Oh,
bien.
y Nexus, pero bueno, qué día el de hoy, ¿no? A ver, Willy.
La nueva dinámica, Vegeta, nueva dinámica.
Oh, a
El
Leslie.
tuyo hago es muy malo, lo siento.
A Leslie.
Sí, es súper malo, pero tú estás muerto y yo estoy vivo.
Aquí no hay nadie, Nefa.
Aquí no hay nadie.
Me
Hostia, pues gracias, Deja, no hay
gustaría.
nadie ahí, amigo.
Lo de los silbidos lo hemos quitado, ¿no? En la nueva dinámica.
No, bueno, se me ha olvidado eso, la verdad.
Oye, ¿y Willy? Ostras, Willy, no te veía, qué bien escondido estás.
Es que soy muy bueno.
Pero si me acaba de decir para que aquí la oreja. Aquí.
No, pero en la sala de los libros no hay nadie.
Vale, es decir, Willy, lo complicado de verdad es que se te vea por.
Oh, este es bueno, este es muy bueno, Este es muy bueno, papito.
Muy buena, papito, muy buena,
Te
papito.
fuiste, nos fuimos.
Nada, papi, vas Prime,
Papito chulo.
Voy Prime este día.
Ah,
Vale,
qué sacada,
Nefa.
Vegeta, que estoy viendo ahora los escondites y quería remarcarlo. Muy sacada.
Gracias. Y has visto además todo y nombres y todo perfectos. Ahí
Bueno,
me-
y Fargan ya tiene el primer vídeo del día, W Fargan, W Fargan que se ha sacado el primer vídeo, tío. Qué locura.
Sí. A ver, Nefa, te he dado una pista. Eso no es
Aquí,
nada.
aquí no hay nadie, de
Aquí no hay
hecho.
nadie, Nefa, de hecho.
¿Cómo le gusta?
Bueno, también te podemos estar
puse de
mintiendo,
moda,
para llevarte.
Silbando un poquillo.
Mira,
Qué bueno.
todos menos.
¡Ay, no!
El mejor ha encontrado, qué locura.
Bueno.
Ah, no, pero que
Sí, porque
Nexus está. ¡Oh,
Es verdad que el tuyo es horrible.
No, bueno, ya estoy de locos. Bueno, lo importante, no obstante, chicos, es ver. Oh, wow.
No, le han pillado.
Oh.
¿Qué ha pasado? Vale.
¿Qué?
No sé
A
quién
ver,
podrá ser.
La idea era buena. Y de
Es
hecho ha
muy
pasado
buena,
por ahí un
era
par de
buena,
veces.
Vale,
y no me han
47
dicho.
segundos. ¿Cuántos
Los
faltan?
que quedamos somos cosas de comer menos Alexby.
¿What?
Pero yo silbo mucho.
Sí, de locos.
Cosas
Se podría
de comer.
decir que.
38 segundos.
No obstante, tengo que decir que Willy, te aplaudo a ti, ¿vale? Y te deseo lo mejor de este mundo.
Sí, pero si Willy no ha hecho
Yo
ni
soy
un
una
punto.
cosa de comer, Nefa.
Me sabe
No he
mal.
sacado ni un punto porque no me han pillado, claro.
Busca.
Como Alexby
Nefa.
Silve se va a escuchar hasta el mapa siguiente, tú.
No, sí.
Tío, ¿dónde estáis?
No, es difícil, porque ese.
Nefa.
¡Que vive la piña debajo del mar! ¿Te gustan los cereales? Los cereales de Ano 777, tal vez.
No, sí.
Oye, Nexus, ¿cuánto cobra Nefa por no verte? Pregunto.
Poquito,
O sea,
la verdad, poquito.
Es de locos.
Nefa,
Wow.
¿Qué?
Joder, ya, tío.
soy algo de comer, un anzuelo.
Es una sacada. Encima ha hecho la Vegeta Classic, que es la de
Ya.
traspasar medio mapa y que el juego le deje, que está muy bien.
Claro, soy algo de comer un anzuelo, Nefa.
¿Y Willy dónde cojones? Willy.
Es que a Willy le ha disparado y es que no le ha dado. No sé por qué no le ha
No,
dado.
es que le he dado la bola de arriba pensando que era una cabeza.
Willy era un
Wow.
Eslan, Willy.
Mapazo ese.
Un slam.
Buen mapa, ¿eh?
Ha sido buen mapa. Me ha gustado mucho.
¿O mapa de varias veces?
Silbido.
Menos que yo.
Me ha gustado mucho la dinámica,
pero-
Nexus.
Pilla,
Silbido,
Pepe
silbido.
que
¿Cada
no le
cuánto
hace
lo ponéis
rápido,
normalmente el
tío.
silbido?
30.
30. Vale.
Sí.
Vale. Este mapa, he de decir que yo lo jugué ayer, pero vosotros no lo habéis jugado, así que creo que va a estar muy bonito, papá.
Pepe
Vale,
pillas,
porque
que
es un
Andrés le ha
poco
cogido y también
sangriento.
contra primero.
Es un poco sangriento este mapa.
Sí, de hecho, hoy pillé 30 euros, Agus.
¿Cómo que pillaste 30 euros? ¿De qué?
Sí.
¿De qué?
¿Os ha pillado?
¿De qué?
Pillado 30 euros, boy.
Vale, chicos, nos centramos un poquito.
¿Qué pasa?
Sí. ¿Pero qué le has metido? ¿A una apuesta? partido de hoy.
No, unas tarjetas del Apple Pay.
Pues no
Está claro ya.
preguntes. Pero es que no sé qué necesidad hay de decirlo aquí. Es...
Farga, ¿te han salido tetitas? ¿Lo has visto?
Me pregunta si he pillado, pues claro que he pillado unas tarjetas.
Anda, Farga, te han salido tetitas, es verdad.
¿Te han salido tetitas, Farga?
No, lo que pasa, Vegeta, que
Vale, tenéis 200 segundos para correr.
Ah, chicos, perdón, que está Fran intentando que le metamos en la llamada a Ballestax.
¿Por qué salto tanto?
Perdón, ¿podemos salir para invitar a Fran?
¿no?
Pero solo caemos 10.
No, que va.
Se puede cambiar eso a 11.
Cabemos 12. Cabemos 12.
Como los apóstoles. Yo saldría un momento por Fran, un momento, ¿vale?
Sí, reiniciamos y que entre Fran.
El grupo de Discord está lleno.
Ya, pero nos metemos en un servidor.
Sí, echamos a alguien.
Nos metemos al suyo, que lo tiene todo el mundo.
No puedo.
Tenemos un servidor especial. El de
Vale, vamos a server este que has puesto, va.
Vale. ¿Se lo podéis pasar a Ballestax?
Está dentro
Está hecho él.
Vale.
No lo sé.
Ahí estamos.
Bueno.
Bienvenidos al servidor masónico de Discord de Mecha Chameleon.
Hola.
Nuestro objetivo es meter a más de 37 millones de suscriptores aquí.
Bueno, nuestro objetivo sobre todo es la nueva dinámica de Nexus que va a
Qué
ser
bien, porque me tocaba buscar
rompedora.
y he esquivado.
A mí lo voy a decir claro, la nueva dinámica de Nexus me está dando escalofríos, Me parece una
Tío, pero ¿me podéis explicar